watching Tabletop Legends. If you like the episode, subscribe to this channel and click the bell icon to enable notifications. A new episode goes up every Monday. You can also join us live on the Proficiency Bonus Twitch channel every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Enjoy. Tabletop Legends would like to thank our presenting sponsor, the 8th House and Marble Moon Studio, an independently and ethically sourced witchy lifestyle and home goods shop, supporting small businesses and creating a safe, inclusive space and community for witchy folk. Find them online at marblemoonstudio.com or shopthe8thhouse.com. Hello, welcome to Tabletop Legends. It's Tuesday! Huzzah! You might be noticing that we are missing a few people tonight. There is no... I think we angled the camera so that your hand is probably off screen right now. But there is no Curtis, there is no Russell tonight. We had some last-minute cancellations. Russell is traveling, was on his way back, and should have been able to get here tonight. But as these things sometimes happen, he has been caught up and is not going to be able to join us tonight. And Curtis is dealing with some family stuff tonight, so he is not going to be able to join us. So strap in, folks, because you're about to watch what happens when the DM discovers that he has to make an alternate plan for tonight's episode of Tabletop Legends with 1 hour notice. So what we were going to do tonight, we're going to do a special one-shot. I whipped something together. We're going to see how it's going to go. It's either going to be magical or it's going to crash and burn. If you checked out a couple of weeks ago, we did a special Tabletop Legends takes over the Sunday Night Curse of Strahd stream. You can find that on the Proficiency Bonus channel. I'm not sure what they titled it, but it was a special one-shot where I ran a whole bunch of Proficiency Bonus personalities through a little side adventure set in the Tabletop Legends universe, and we had everybody roll random characters at the start of the episode and just kind of run with it. So we're gonna do a very similar thing for tonight. I have a special little one-shot here that takes place in the Tabletop Legends universe. It is in the same setting. It is on a different part of the continent upon which the campaign takes place. It will be a different set of characters. Roughly around the same time that our main story is taking place. And unless something goes terribly, terribly wrong and this whole thing comes crashing around our ears, whatever happens tonight will be canon for the Tabletop Legends universe. Short of these guys finding a way to destroy my game world with the level 4 characters that I'm about to hand out to them.
Challenge accepted.
So yes, thank you for joining us tonight. You're on our hastily thrown together show. Luckily for you guys, Twitch does not have smell-o-vision enabled, as between my normal day job and having to get this ready and everything else. The cast is being exposed to the unshowered from work, from the gym, frantic version of myself. But you don't have to deal with that, and they do, so lucky you. Anyway, I would like to give a shout out to our normal sponsors for Proficiency Bonus, Streamlabs, the Twitch affiliate program, Many-Sided Dice, and Team MZ for supporting Proficiency Bonus and this channel, and small streaming networks like us. I would like to thank Tabletop Legends presenting sponsor, as always, Marble Moon Studios and the 8th House, independently and ethically sourced witchy lifestyle and home goods shop, supporting small businesses and a creative, safe, inclusive space and community for witchy folk. You can find them at marblemoonstudio.com and shopthe8thhouse.com. Keep an eye on their stuff. They are both in the process of launching Kickstarters for tarot decks that they themselves over at Marble Moon and Shop the 8th House have designed. They also sell the Tabletop Legends Magic AF mug, which you can buy if you love it, and you should, because they're awesome. They are relatively inexpensive, and absolutely 100% of the proceeds from those mugs does not go to us. as it is their product. So support them. They deserve it. They're awesome. And check them out online. You can get all sorts of cool things. Now, special announcements before we launch into tonight's episode. We have some big news this month. Starting yesterday, I believe. No, starting today, because the Tomb of Annihilation stream got canceled yesterday. So we get to break the news. Oh, it's even a bigger deal than I thought it was. This month is, I believe we're calling it Birthday Month. This is DM and producer Michael, the founder of Proficiency Bonus. His birthday is this month. It is also coming up this month, the 2-year anniversary of the Proficiency Bonus Network. It is also Extra Life Month. For those of you not familiar with Extra Life, it is a massive online charity event where people like us and people way more popular and awesome than us do all sorts of things like video gaming, tabletop gaming. They do like 24-hour streams. All is to raise money for a charity called Extra Life, which raises money for the Children's Hospital, the Miracle Network. Proficiency Bonus is running a fundraiser this month in order to raise money for the Children's Hospital in... right near DM Michael. There is a post about it on the Proficiency Bonus Facebook and page. There is a post about it on the Tabletop Legends Facebook. You can search it there with a link to donate. We have set a goal for $500 over the course of all of our streams during this month to try and raise for Extra Life. But I think we can get more than that. So check that out, please, if you have a few spare bucks and you want to donate. I highly encourage you to do that. It's a great cause. It's a really cool thing that sort of the nerds of the internet unite once a year to all kind of get together and support a really cool cause. So that is Extra Life. I have a few more announcements. So the next announcement, and this is the big one that I'm excited to be able to break the news here for, because I think we are the first stream to run since the official news has come out. Little Dragon Corp. Little Dragon Corp Dice. They are a purveyor of fine dicey boys. Everybody's favorite bits of plastic. They make polyhedral dice and a few other tabletop gaming little knickknacks. They are starting a partnership with Proficiency Bonus. So we are proud to have them as part of the Proficiency Bonus family. They will be supporting us, and they are joining us with a bunch of cool giveaways for this month's birthday month. So I am contractually obligated to read this to you. Proficiency Bonus is now sponsored by Little Dragon Corp. Visit Little Dragon Corp. That's spelled exactly like it looks. I will actually, I'll get somebody to throw that in chat in a minute, so that you can see it there. Visit Little Dragon Corp for all of your dice and gaming needs. Make sure to check out their special Birthstone dice sets now available. During Proficiency Bonus's birthday celebration week, beginning on Saturday, July 20th, we will be giving away a set of these Birthstone dice during each of our streams. So that's 7 streams, 7 days a week, 7 sets of dice being given away. So make sure to tune in live that week for your chance to win. You can also type !Little Dragon in the Twitch chat for a quick link to their website. Do not forget, if you do go on their site and choose to purchase something, you can use the coupon code BONUS, BONUS, at checkout to receive 10% off your order. So, thank you, Little Dragon Corp, for sponsoring and partnering with us here at Proficiency Bonus. I'm super excited. Becca is buying dice as we speak.
Thank you for feeding my addiction.
Dice are being purchased live on air right now.
Diception.
Must have the shiny clack clack.
Looks like Moobot has already posted a link there. I will
Thank you, Moobot.
I will pop in
I tried to put the link to the
Little
the
Dragon
Facebook page and it deleted it.
All right.
Just
Well,
the link deleted.
we clearly
It's
are in
not like
control of our own
thanks.
operation here. So, without any further ado, thank you to all of our sponsors. Thank you to those of us who are joining. Once again, we say it every week. I can't reach that. Somebody hold up theirs for me. We have Tabletop Legends mugs on hand. If we get to 20 concurrent viewers at some point during tonight's episode, we will give one of these bad boys away. That's sort of been our goal for the past couple of weeks. We haven't managed to get there yet. We're always hover around 10, 12 viewers. If we can get those last couple to push us up to 20, we will give one of these Tabletop Legends Magic AF mugs away. They are super cool. We'll sign it for you, or maybe we won't sign it and ruin the mug that you're getting. Maybe we'll just give you a regular mug. Whatever you want. It is totally up to you. But tell your friends, tell your mom, make a second account on a different computer and just log that in. I don't care. If we get to 20 concurrent viewers, we will give one of those mugs away. Alrighty. I think I'm all out of spiel, so I think we're ready to roll. Alright. So, as we did in our one-shot the other day, which was titled the Botanium, I believe that's what it should be on Proficiency Bonus's backlog if you want to go look for it. Fair warning, it did go on for about 6.5 hours. I gave them the option to call it at a normal time, but they were real into it and they wanted to keep going, so it's a long one.
Did you order pizza midway through?
It wasn't guys around the table. It was people video conferenced in. But as we did during that one, we are playing with random. Going to do some random characters. So what I have done ahead of time here is, since we don't have, there's a website I use. If anybody is interested, it is called I believe fastcharactermaker.com. We're not sponsored by them or anything. It is fastcharacter.com. They're not sponsored, but if they want to, they can. Give us money. We'll shill your nonsense. But fastcharacter.com, it is basically a super convenient little website where you can just plug in like race, class, level, background, all the core stuff, and it just spits out a fully playable character sheet to you. So they all did that via the internet last time, since we are at the table here. I went ahead, I just randomly generated a handful of characters. I do have more characters than we have players at the table, so there's some randomness. Basically what I'm going to have you guys do here, just go ahead and roll a d6. If anybody gets the same number, argue among yourselves who's going to re-roll.
1, 2, 4, 6.
6.
1, 2, 4, and 6. Okay. Right? Is that what I heard?
Yep.
Who got 1?
Hooray!
Okay, so these character sheets do have names on the top of them. You are not obligated to use them. I did not designate a gender, a name, or like an alignment for any of these characters, so that's totally up to you. Use the one on the top if you want. Some of them are preposterous. Okay, somebody had 2?
2.
2.
Four.
4. That's 3. That's 4. And you were 6?
Yes, please.
There you go.
Thank you.
Alrighty, since I already don't remember what any of these characters were, let me read the. I'll read the intro bit to you, and then we'll go around the table, and you guys can introduce your characters. I'll give you a second to familiarize yourself with whatever you're playing tonight, and come up with a name, create a.
These are definitely letters, but in this order, they are not legible.
What? Just the name, or
Just the first name.
Oh, okay.
I don't understand how.
I
you
thought
first
maybe
pronounce
Jason
that.
was having a stroke there for a minute. Was like, I can't read.
I felt like I was having trouble saying this name.
Yeah, the name generation on this website is a little bonkers, but other than that, I really like it. It's super good for crap like this, where we want to like throw random characters together. It's really good if there's like a nameless schlub of an NPC in a town that you guys latch onto, and I all of a sudden need to be like a fully statted character. It's great for this. I really like that website. So, the premise of tonight's one-shot episode. It's a little unnecessarily dramatic, I apologize. In the northern kingdom of Voland, the city of Volrenheim sits nestled along the southern bank of Lake Moldorn. The twin rivers Schal and Amma, flanking the city to the east and to the west, as they flow out to Orhol's western sea. Volrenheim is an industrious city, surviving on a healthy fishing trade supplied by Lake Moldorn and the two rivers, as well as the thriving goods and services industries prevalent within Voland. Like most of the region, the city is governed primarily by the large conglomerates and guilds that hold influence via control of jobs and resources. Chimera Palta, a private contracted peacekeeping force on the payroll of one of the major players in Volrenheim's commerce, hire hundreds of individuals to serve as the city's armed presence. These individuals do everything and anything in and around the city that might require an armed response. To some, SP peacekeepers represent order and civilization. To others, they are thugs with badges. There is a common saying within Voland. It is applied and echoed within every major city, Volrenheim being no exception. Voland has no laws, just cops. You all are employees of Chimera Palta. Good, bad, or something in between. You all wear the badge bearing the SP insignia. 2 days ago, a precinct in the southern ward received a request for peacekeeping intervention from a homesteader living south of the city. The assignment was posted on the board with dozens of the other active requests, and when lots were drawn to hand out assignments, your group was selected to look into this one. A man by the name of Neil Helker reported his wife abducted by a local group of bandits. You set off from Volrenheim and have traveled 3 days out of the city to investigate the issue. Before you now is a small single-story homestead tucked against the tree-lined forest, with its fields plowed, barren for the winter, sitting beside it. A trail of smoke from the chimney until I wrote this 5 minutes ago, as some of the grammar doesn't make sense. A trail of smoke from the chimney and the sound of wood being chopped around the far side of the house indicate that someone is home. Behind the house, you can just see the corner of what appears to have been a structure that has burned down. So, let's start on this side of me. Becca, who are you?
The name generator came on with Grudon Eknol.
Bless you.
Gesundheit. Spell that for me?
I'm gonna go with Bruce.
Bruce. Bruce.
Is your full name just Bruce?
Bruce.
Bruce. All right. So Bruce.
Bruce, who is a human fighter.
Bruce, a human fighter. All right, Carlos, what you got?
I'm literally imagining
I'm not going to use their name.
That's what I'm
I am Rutherford Bosch Ruth. I'm a human rogue.
Human rogue. Okay. Adam.
I am Murga of the clan Troid. Human barbarian. Yes, Murgatroyd. As in heavens to Murgatroyd.
Murga.
Yeah, human barbarian.
Human barbarian. All right, and Jason.
I am Yarley Cresby, because I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce this.
Yarley.
Yarley Cresby. Iarolei. Dash stroke.
All right, and
Cresby.
what is your race and class?
I am a half-elf cleric.
Half-elf cleric. Okay. So, the party of Bruce, Ruth, Murga, and Yarley. There is a homestead before you. What do you do?
Clearly, that burned down building shouldn't be like that. We should probably go see if they're okay inside.
Is this the house that we were...
The house itself appears intact. You can see the corner of another structure, like out back behind the house, that appears as if it was burned down.
This is the house we are assigned to.
Yes, you have arrived at the homestead of Neil Helker.
It doesn't look like it's currently on fire. That sounds like a lot of work.
I mean, it's fine. Just go see if they're home. Also, gonna sneak around out back and see if there's anything to look around at.
That
I mean-
sounds like even more work.
We're supposed to be here anyway.
Seems that I want to be.
You never want to be anywhere.
Where would you want to be?
I don't know. There are not very many good places.
You're knocking on the front door?
Yeah.
Okay. So, knock on the front door. There is a slight commotion from within inside. You also hear the sound of chopping wood from behind the house stops. A few moments later, the door opens, and the group of you kind of look in and then down as the individual answering the door is a boy of perhaps 9, 10. He has simple garments on, just the simple clothes of a common homesteader, rough spun tunic and trousers, appear to be fur lined in the winter months. He has a kind of a tuft of violently red hair atop his head and freckles, and he kind of looks up at you all with sort of large and like almost starry-eyed enthusiasm. He says,
Yarley Cresby, at your service, young one. Where is your father or parents?
kind of looks at all of you. And he sort of points kind of to his side. And a moment later, an individual comes around the corner of the house. It is a man, perhaps in his mid-30s, bearing a striking resemblance to the boy standing at the door. He has an axe, simple wood-cutting axe, slung over one shoulder. His sleeves are kind of rolled up past the elbow. He's fairly like well muscled from a life spent working the land and taking care of his homestead. But he has fairly plain kind of plain features and sort of gentle demeanor. Similarly, quite red hair, although he has a kind of like a woolen ear-flapped cap pulled over his head. And he walks up and he says, "Oh, are you the peacekeepers from Chimera?"
Yes, sir.
Oh, I'm glad to see that they saw fit to send someone out. My wife, as I left with the contract, my wife has been taken by a group of bandits. I hope that you can help me retrieve her. I'm at my wit's end as to what to do otherwise. I can't afford what they're asking for her return.
What are they asking?
The same as they always ask for. A portion of our crop, a portion of our coin, protection money, as they always call it. But it was a hard season, and I didn't have enough for them and for my family over the winter.
You said the same thing that always happens.
Indeed. Their group, they call themselves the Amber Sky Bandits. They've been around here for years. They typically don't... Can you lay down? You're making a lot of fuss right now. All of the Celestial Weasel is causing fuss. typically is as long as you're able to cover what they're asking for, they don't bring anybody any trouble. They kind of run this whole area out here.
What'd you say your wife's name was?
My wife is Nora, and I'm Neil Helco. Points to the boy. My son, Arnie, there. And kind of looks past him. He says, "My father is about here somewhere. Hester is his name. He might be laying down." And he kind of points to his son. He says, "Arnie, go fetch your grandfather." And Arnie's like, "Okay." He nods and retreats into the house.
How long ago was your wife taken?
So it'll be 5-6 days ago now. When they took her, I knew I wouldn't be able to put together what they were asking for her return, so I set off straight away to take up the contract in the city with Chimera Palta, and that was. Yes, about it'll have been about 6 days since she was originally taken.
Is this the first time they've taken anybody prisoner like this, or anybody ransom?
Yes, as far as I know. Kind of scratches the stubble on his face, and he looks at you sort of with a little bit of almost like a placating expression in his face. He's, no offense, of course, but this far outside the city limits, Chimera Palta doesn't usually trouble itself too much with the affairs of the folks out here. To a lot of people in the area, paying protection money to these Amber Sky bandits is no different than paying the protection money to S&P. They're generally peaceable enough. They come, they don't typically take more than anyone can afford, and it's just been the way of things.
Did that change? Did they ask for more this year?
He sort of nods and says, "Yes, it was very strange. They came and they seemed nervous, almost as if they were on edge for some reason. When they asked for the deliveries for our supplies and the amount of gold, and I tried to explain to them that I could give them a portion, but that was all I had. They argued amongst themselves for a minute, and he sort of points in the direction behind the house where you had seen. He said, "I don't know. I've never seen them like this. They burned down my barn, and they took Nora. They said that if we couldn't come up with the rest of what we owed, then they would keep her as the rest of the payment. I've never heard of such a thing. They're usually, for bandits, they're usually fairly straightforward.
What direction do they normally come from?"
He points sort of to the west, or to the east, rather, towards the sort of where the trees begin. It says always from the east. I don't know where their base camp is, but they always come from the east, out of the forest. I hear that they come from somewhere up in the foothills of the mountains in that direction. But that's all I know.
Does sound like there's something different this time around, so we best make haste. Is there anything else you can tell us about the area?
Nothing specific. It's pretty tame around here. For all their banditry, they do provide the service that they claim to. They keep the monster populations relatively under control here. The area is generally fairly safe. I mean, there's always the chance of an owl bear or some other nasty in the woods once you get too deep, but nothing especially. He kind of says, "Do you think you'll be able to find their camp?"
I'm certainly gonna try.
They're coming from the same direction every time. I imagine it's not that hard to locate. If there's any insight you can give us, that would be helpful.
Kind of thinks at this point, Arnie comes back out leading an elderly man, again with that same red hair and some of the similar features of the two younger men. He comes out kind of leaning on a cane. As he walks out, he sort of looks and says, "Well, who are these people?" And Neil's kind of like, "Father, these are Chimera Palta officers. They're here about Nora." "Well, what are they going to do about it? They're going to bring her back?" He kind of looks, he's like, squints at you guys. One of his eyes is like not quite center. And he looks around and says,
Murgatroyd keeps trying to move slightly, so he's trying to keep both eyes focused.
jabs a kind of a cane in your guys' direction. In my day, you Chimera Palta folks, the only language they understood was a little grease on the palm, if you know what I'm saying, boy. And he's like nudging Arnie, who's like nodding, but clearly doesn't know what he's saying. He says, "You tell him that they took your wife?" He says, Yes, I did. They're going to help. They're gonna wait around here for when they come back. And at that, Neil's like, "Oh."
They're due to come back.
He says, "Yes. One of them told me that they would return. They gave me a time limit. They said they would be back to collect the rest of my payment. They should be here any day now. Perhaps you could wait here for them if you didn't mean to trek off after their camp.
How big of a group do they usually come in?
No more than 3 or 4 usually."
And how much do you owe them?
He says, "It's tough to say." He says, "Here, come inside. Let me show you." And kind of gestures you inside, and so you guys follow. Young Arnie is kind of like, he looks at you. He looks at your Chimera Palta badges, very wide-eyed. The old man next to him is kind of like giving you the stink eye as you pass. But as you're led inside, he brings you into the small central room of the homestead. There is a fire going on along one wall, a cook pot set into the hearth. The room has a number of table, chairs, kind of the general furnishings of a small home. Upon that main table, you see there is a small sack that would likely contain gold, as well as a whole bunch of assorted like tools and things and various nothing that looks particularly valuable, but like what looks like the best of his valuables. He says, this is what I was gathering together in case S&P didn't send anyone. It's all the gold I have remaining, about 30 gold pieces, and everything of value that I could scrape up among the homestead. I'm hoping it's enough for them. They didn't really give me an exact amount, just that what I did have to offer, which was several bushels of grain from our harvest and about 20 other gold pieces. was not enough. This kind of just gestures out to the table. This was my plan if you lot hadn't arrived.
Obviously, you care very much about your wife and want her back.
I do very much. Bruce is a man, right?
Yes.
Okay. I do very much, sir. I was checking. Bruce could be a lady. I do very, very much, sir. I don't know what we'll do without the tools next season, but I'm not concerned about that right now.
Our group here is quite capable. I think you shouldn't have to worry about losing your tools. But did they say that they were going to bring your wife back soon?
So I don't know if they'll bring her with them, or if they'll just come and collect the payment. They didn't say.
I think we should probably not wait around for them then. If they're this violent and not giving you any definitive answers as to what they want, there's no guarantee that they're going to come back with your wife.
Whatever you think is best, I certainly, if you can find them faster than waiting for them here, the less time spent with my Nora in their custody, the better, certainly.
If that's okay with you all. If you think it's better to wait, I'm concerned for their safety and their willingness to cooperate if we do
I
capture
think
them.
we should take a moment to confer.
That sounds
Alright, we'll come up with a plan.
So she's dead, right?
Did you guys like?
No.
Did you guys like do that?
Yeah, just like...
So he's like turns slightly left.
I just want to give you the look of.
You hear like, and you look as Arnie has just like dropped a bunch of like he was like in the process of getting a bowl of stew from the cook pot. He like drops it on the floor. He's like.
I literally grab Ruth by the scruff of our neck. Excuse us, and I.
That's why I said we need to confer for a moment.
I just start carrying him out, Ruth.
That's what they get for eavesdropping.
Remember what I said about inside voices and outside voices?
I don't. I do not.
I'm still just carrying him out of the house. I walk about 30 paces and then I set him down. Even if she is, it's not something that you announce to the small child.
If they were eavesdropping, then that's their problem. I clearly said that we needed a moment away to confer.
Yes, and then turning and going, so she's dead, right? Is your idea of conferring in private.
Yes.
Which one of us is supposed to be the hermit?
That's a good question. I don't like people very much, and I don't like most places. I think I'd be a good hermit.
You'd be a terrible hermit.
I think I have a retirement plan.
See,
Maybe
it's
something
people like
good will come out of today.
it's people like you that drove me away from cities in general. There was a need for gold, and that drove me back. All right, so there's a chance, and they've already killed her, or they've already thrown her off. However, there is a chance that she's still alive. More importantly, if we don't stop them, they're going to run all these small farmers completely into the ground. And that's not good, because then they're going to send us back out after them. So I'd rather deal with them now.
I mean, that's another lottery. We might not get that one.
You want to try your luck again?
How much worse can it get?
Sewer detail? Again?
It was one time.
Yes, one time. And I'd rather not do it again.
What do we think the plan is? Go out and try to find them in the middle of the woods?
Any of you skilled with tracking?
Wait, are we all? I thought it was just the two of you.
No. I carried them off. I'm not sure whether or not you
Okay.
followed me or not.
I'm assuming we stayed and tried to do damage control.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have any skill with tracking?
No.
Bruce!
What?
Cresby!
Are you done?
I think so.
What happened this time?
Do either of you
we
have
need a plan.
do either of you have any skill in tracking?
I absolutely do not. However,
No, we do not. I think we should wait here. They're coming to us. We can just follow them back.
Or
Easy.
that's more time that she's at risk.
But we've established she's probably dead.
No, you keep saying she's probably dead. That does not mean this happened.
What direction did they say that it came from?
East.
East. I'm going to cast Augury.
Okay. Are you asking of your
Question.
augury?
If we leave now, head directly east, will we come across the bandit camp?
Okay. So you guys watch as Yorley Crisby, as you guys are kind of discussing your plans, kind of sits cross-legged on the ground nearby, clears away some of the like leaves and sticks and debris to make a small area of bare earth, and begins to set out a small clay bowl into which he puts a few dried herbs, and pulls a single sort of bluish, purplish feather. Places that over top of the other items that he had placed in that ceramic bowl, and then taking a flint and steel, he strikes, launching a spark into the bowl, igniting the dried leaves and herbs, which begin to profusely smoke, creating this, at first, standard kind of grayish smoke, which, as you guys watch, and he asks this question, basically asks a question to the bowl. If we travel directly east, will we come across the bandit camp? The smoke turns jet black. And you watch as that blue feather is consumed, burning away as if ignited.
Fire.
You familiar enough with this spell that is generally to be interpreted as a negative. That if you just point east and start walking, you're not going to just run into the bandit camp.
Are you talking to Bowles again?
It's special herbs, it's fine. However, I don't think it's directly east.
More that fortune telling nonsense. None of it's real.
I assure you, it is very effective when it works.
Name one time.
There was that incident on the 57th Street.
Not to mention a bunch of times he's healed you, including the trip down to the sewer.
We don't talk to the sewer. I don't want to go back there.
All just happenstance. This religion stuff and magic stuff is just a bunch of nonsense.
I'm just gonna like walk away. I'm a little cleric. Like I don't. It's like, Anyway, yes. Let's just wait.
I think that's a good
If
idea.
we know they're coming here, it's a couple of days. We probably shouldn't mention the possible condition of the wife.
That's a bit.
Wink.
I think that cat's out of the bag.
Wink. Cat might not be in the bag in the first place.
We should probably not also be visible.
Mhm.
After all, 4 badge-wearing members of the SMP here is probably not conducive to them being willing to parlay in any way, shape, or form.
They may not appreciate seeing highway patrol.
I'm going to take my badge and just take it off and just tuck it in a pocket. Problem solved. Done. Easy.
So you're volunteering to be the farmhand here?
No, that's going to be enormously suspicious. You just said that we didn't have to be S&P.
I was also thinking that we should probably not be in sight, at least not immediately.
So then the badge isn't the part that matters.
Is it currently winter?
It is like tail end of fall, early winter.
So like not ideal camping weather, but like not impossible camping weather.
You're not gonna freeze to death.
Are there 2 stories to the house?
It's a 1-story house, but there
Hide
is
in
a
the
there
barn
is
that
a
is now burned down, and that's
Yep.
not a good option. So
You can still-
the house is theoretically large enough that if you guys wanted to like stay in the house, you could ask Neil.
Yeah. Are
No,
there
there's
any
the
other
common room.
outbuildings besides the burned out barn?
You see there's an outhouse.
Mm-hmm.
There is a what appears to be like a storage shed, and along the side of the house that you can see as you've kind of walked away from it a little bit, there's what appears to be probably a root cellar.
You can hang out in the cellar.
let's ask Neil.
Sounds good.
Maybe he's okay with us hanging out. Maybe keeps us, not seen from there. We walked up. We don't have any horses or carriages to not suspiciously hide.
Yeah.
Sure.
I can't imagine why we wouldn't be welcome.
There's an awful lot that you have trouble imagining.
Real good sir. Would it be possible to host us until they come here? And would it be possible for us to be a little bit out of sight during that time?
See, he nods, kind of course, yes. By all means, my home is open to you. If you are to stay here and wait for the bandits to return and to attempt to rescue my poor Nora, you're more than welcome. You can stay in my home. Our food and drink is yours to share. By all means.
There's a cellar. Maybe we can hide out there, and if they come along,
Yes, we have a root cellar. It might be hard to hear when they come from down within the cellar, but
you could send Arnie to go get your father, and then he'll just come to the cellar and let us know.
yes, whatever you think is best.
Does the cellar run directly under the house?
He says a part of it. It's about 15 feet by 15 feet. The left side extends about 4 feet beneath the house. The rest of it is below the ground, beside the main house.
One of us will sit by the stairs. It'll be fine.
So
We'll take shifts.
the plan is, do we wait in the cellar when they come up and then follow them to their camp, or do you want to?
I just want to follow them.
Okay.
It's much easier than trying to find them.
I mean, we could also confront them when they get here.
Then how do we know where they're hiding?
Did they come on mounts or did they come on foot?
Usually on foot. Sometimes they'll bring. Sometimes they'll bring a donkey pulling a sled for
How much warning do you
putting
have?
supplies on. He says if we keep a sharp lookout, sometimes I'll catch them a few minutes before they get here. They don't typically announce their arrival.
So first night we'll hang out in the house, and then morning of the meeting we can hide in the cellar, and they can get us, and then we can follow them after they leave.
Yep.
Okay.
Sounds like a plan.
All right.
Just let us know if you see that donkey or stone pony coming around.
Of course, of course. So you guys kind of go about the remainder of the day, sort of enjoying the hospitality of the homestead.
I'll help out with some of the chores.
Yeah, they're mostly kind of chopping wood. There is some work to be done, kind of finishing off putting the like pickling and drying a bunch of things, preparing to store them for the winter. There's some work to be done with that. The old man, Hester, is he's inside going about some stitch work. It's threading up, patching some holes in some of their blankets and sheets and clothing and things like that. It was easy enough for those of you who want to pitch in a little bit.
Yep.
Arnie spends a good portion of the day kind of following one or the other of you around. He stays very well clear of Ruth. Seems very much cautious of Ruth after the.
I tell young Arnie all about the trip to the sewer and all the horrible things that happened to Ruth.
He's a changed person.
That night, you guys are able to take advantage of the meal that Neil and Arnie and Hester share. He offers you that it's only like a 2-room house basically, so they kind of help make you as comfortable as they can in the sort of the main common room of the home, and you sort of pass a quiet, sort of uneventful night within this homestead. As dawn breaks the next day, things start to get moving. You hear Neil and Arnie kind of get up first and head outside to begin doing some work clearing some of the rubble and portions of the burned down barn away, and I guess you guys at this point head down. You're heading down to the root cellar and hanging out.
Yeah, we check it out.
Can we hear the goings on upstairs?
Once if somebody sits sort of on the steps near the door, you can sort of hear the muffled movement outside every once in a while. If one of the three men exchanges words or has a conversation, you can't necessarily make out specifics, but you can hear the kind of tones of conversation going on in the area sort of near the house.
So then presumably we'll take turns sitting by the stairs to see what's going on.
All right. So you guys want to come up with a shift order for me?
Sure.
I'll take second.
Well, I'll take the third.
I'll take the first. It's fine.
I guess I'm last.
All right. Everybody go ahead and roll me a perception check.
We all just roll the same thing. Okay, that's funny.
I rolled a 8. Well,
8.
9 all
9.
total.
9.
9.
7.
7.
I don't know where perception is.
Alphabetical.
13.
13. Okay. You guys spend a good chunk of the day just kind of hanging out in that root cellar. What you gauge to be several hours past midday during Murga's shift at the sort of up near the door. You hear a little bit of conversation going on. It's not the first time you hear Neil's voice. You hear Hester, and after a couple of minutes of just sort of kind of listening, you've been sitting here for a while. It's a little boring. it like dawns on you that it sounds like there's a couple of different voices, a couple of new voices up there.
What?
I clap my hand over his mouth.
You kind of hear the voice of Neil. From what you can, as you guys are kind of got brought to a change, you hear Neil. Neil sounds tense. There's at least one other new voice that you don't think you recognize, holding a conversation back with him. The answers from Neil, you hear Neil's voice kind of going on as if he's like rambling a little bit in his nervousness. The responses from the unknown voice are much like more short and kind of direct. So what are you doing as you're down in the cellar here?
I believe we're confirmed now.
Going to try.
Confronting them now means that we can't follow them back.
That's true.
Unless we're going to take a prisoner. We're not very good at taking prisoners traditionally.
You're not.
They could also take us not to the right camp.
I'm going to try to sneak up and get a better listen to what they're saying.
You're gonna leave the cellar? From within, from within at the door to this, you can just hear the sort of muffled conversation. Unless you actually leave, you're not going to be able to tell what they're saying.
Yeah, I just go to the end of the cellar and see if I can hear anybody outside of the cellar first.
Okay.
And then try to, if nobody's out there, then I'll just try to, if I can't see anybody out there, I'll try to sneak out and get a better listen.
Okay. Alright, make a perception check.
22.
Okay. So you put your ear to the door. You're able to hear a little bit more clearly. It sounds like the conversation between Neil and this other individual is taking place probably 20 to 30 feet away from the door to the cellar. So if you were to come up out of the cellar, they are to your right, a little ways away.
So they're outside.
You do not hear anything indicating that there is anybody immediately near the door to the cellar.
I will. If there's anybody nearby, I'm try to pop out real fast. If somebody else thinks that they can quietly do it, they're about 30 feet that way.
Yeah, I'm probably the quietest.
If you want to try to take a peek and see if you can hear what they're saying better,
I mean, I don't, but I will.
could you please?
I suppose.
Alright, so you're gonna try and
Yeah, just
take a look at?
Yeah.
Okay,
Quiet
go ahead and
little
make
door.
a stealth check.
Guidance.
Okay, and he'll give you guidance.
So how does that work?
Guidance is a cantrip. It does things.
Alright. Gives you a plus
Add D4.
4, yeah, plus D4 to your roll. Grifford.
That is a 4 plus 15.
A 15. Wow.
I rolled a 4, I got a plus 3, and then I have a plus 97 to my proficiency.
Expertise.
Alrighty, there you go. Okay, so you very quietly lift the door to the root cellar and peek your head out. You get a look in the direction that Yarley had indicated, and you can see about 30 feet from where the entrance to the root cellar is. You see Neil with Arnie sort of behind, half behind him, are standing facing towards you guys. You see there are 3 individuals facing them, so with their backs to you. See that basically Neil has positioned himself to point these 3 individuals away from looking in your guys' direction. Neil is sort of you see him wringing his hands a little nervously. As you kind of look, you catch, as he's like sort of talking to them, his like, every couple of seconds, his eyes like move towards the root cellar. He's not being very effective in his like subterfuge. The three that he's talking to don't seem to notice. And you come up right as one of them, the one kind of standing in the middle spot of the three, is in the process of saying, "Told you what would happen if we came back and you didn't have the rest of this. It's real important that we meet our quotas, Mr. Neal. So, what have you got for us? I'm not going to ask you again. I don't know why you're being so cagey about this, unless you don't have our money. In which case, I see no reason we continue this conversation. We'll just go on our merry way, and we'll keep your lovely wife for ourselves." And Neil at this point, like, kind of like, you see him, he like locks eyes with you for a second, and is looking back and says, we got together everything that we could. It's not much, but it's all I have. I swear it.
I'm gonna like roll my eyes and wave them back from the door.
Okay.
Okay.
Then I'm going to climb out of the root cellar.
Okay.
Like, Mr. Neal, what? I'm sorry. I've been dropping on the drink again.
The three kind of like spin. You see three hands go to swords on hips, and the one like turns back and goes, "Oi! Who the hell is this?"
Well, I'm the new help.
He kind of looks and he's like, "Oh, you got money to hire help, but you don't got enough for what you owe us, eh? Is that the case?" And he was like, the thing you see is and he like looks, he's like, clearly like at a loss for how to smooth talk his way around these guys. And so like two of them, the two on either side of the one who's been talking are kind of looking in your direction. The third one is looking back at Neil as he kind of is sputtering and stammering. What are you doing? Anything?
I mean, I can give you the 8 silver that I got, but I spent the rest. I've been jobbing.
You see
like,
the two
hold it out to them.
the two sort of like look at each other and then like look at you as if they're like, what a sorry sod this individual is. And the main one there kind of turns back to Neil. He says, "Your drunk friend aside, why don't you run along and get what you've gathered? We'll see what we think about your the remainder of your payment, eh?" And Neil kind of says, yes, sure. Arnie, go fetch the items from the house. And the boy sort of like scampers off towards the front of the house. The other two are still sort of like vaguely aware of you, but they seem to have like written you off as like a drunk fool at this point.
You guys gonna take this or can I keep it?
The two kind of look to each other again. One of them goes, and the other one begins to walk towards you. He comes over. He's a human. He appears to be probably late 20s, early 30s, a little younger than Neil. He has a kind of an unkempt beard of brown, just with a few like flecks of gray beginning to show in it. His armor is kind of slightly mismatched, not super well fitting. He walks up to you. He has his hand resting on his sword, sort of casually. Does not approach you with the air of a man who considers you a potential threat. And he just kind of ambles up and he kind of looks at you. "Thanks, drunkie." And he reaches out to take the coin from your hand.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. takes it, let's see, puts it in a coin purse and like turns to walk away from you. Okay.
Yep.
So he walks back to his other companion. And they kind of he kind of nudges each other, and the guy like sort of shows him. He's like, goes and puts his purse away. Meanwhile, Arnie now returns from the house with a big sort of bundle of stuff. A lot of the stuff that had been on the table the other night. The small sack of coin, the few like odds and ends, like pseudo valuables, and a bunch of various kind of tools for maintaining things around the farms, the homestead. And he sort of sets it down on the ground between his father and the bandit. And the bandit kind of looks it over. All right. Well, we'll take it. We'll show it to O'Dunn, and we'll see what he thinks of your offering. And he goes to like begin gathering it up and like handing it off to his people. And Neil kind of finding his voices. But my wife then? What about Nora? And the guy says, "Let's see." Once they've gathered everything up, they kind of stow it in like packs and things like that. The man kind of gives a sort of a smug inclination of his head, sort of nod towards Neil, and says, "Pleasure doing business with you, gentlemen. I will see you sometime." He kind of turns and says, "All right, let's go, boys." And the two join him. They start to walk. The one who took the money from you sort of kind of turns back and gives you sort of like a wave, and they begin to head off east into the woods.
So as soon as we can close the door behind them, I'm gonna get these guys.
Okay. So they kind of like, they start to head off. They go into the trees a little bit, and you're able to like open the gate. So
All right, they're off.
All right,
Everything's fine.
Tally ho.
We follow after them.
Probably leave. How much space do we want to leave?
20.
What time of day is it?
a few hours after midday. So you got
I will follow.
several hours, plenty of daylight left.
I will follow last and probably like at the edge of like where I can reasonably see and follow.
Okay.
Just like as far behind them as I possibly can.
Can I take a minute to use my disguise kit?
Yeah.
All right. I don't know how to do that. Is that just a thing that I get to do?
Basically, yeah. So basically,
Okay.
make a roll a d20 and add your proficiency bonus since you're like proficient with your disguise kit, and that'll essentially be like how good your disguise of whatever you're trying to disguise yourself is.
Just the proficiency bonus?
I believe so.
Yeah. 21.
21. Okay. And how are you altering your appearance?
I'm gonna try to look like a little bit older, stubblier. Just like get some dirt in my hair, that kind of thing.
Okay. All right. So you take a few minutes.
More drunk version.
Yeah.
As the group sort of begins to collect themselves and get ready to move, you take a few minutes and you use sort of the makeups and the various tools within your disguise kit to alter your appearance and make yourself look like slightly more of a hobo. And then you guys set off. So first thing, as you guys are kind of staying away from them, and they had a little bit of a head start. Whoever wants to lead there can make a. Since you're cops, I'll give you the option. You can make a survival check, or you can make an investigation check.
I can investigate things. Okay.
I am crap at both.
I will make a survival check.
Okay. Feel free to make more than one roll.
Can I make one too?
Yeah.
No. Try survival roll. Ooh, God, no.
18.
Okay.
21 survival.
21. What was your survival or investigation?
Survival.
Survival. Okay.
I
And you do
guess
your
I can do
investigation.
10.
10. Okay. You had the 21, right? Okay. So as you guys kind of set off, Yarle, you notice in the as you head up, you start to kind of follow a little bit of essentially like a game trail off into the woods. The elevation kind of starts to climb, and after a few minutes of heading in this direction, you pick up a few footprints that like indicate you're headed in the right direction. And as you guys sort of continue, eventually, not within eyesight just yet, but maybe 100 feet or so, sounds like ahead of you, you kind of hear a sharp like as the trio are like you're kind of talking amongst themselves. One of them says something and another one sort of laughs at it. So you kind of know that you're on their trail, and you pick up the scent of these individuals, so to speak. So at this point, you guys are just basically trying to follow them at a distance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. So I need you guys to make a series of stealth checks.
Oh god.
Let's call it 3 stealth checks.
Nope. Just
See?
one. Just this one.
15.
15? Okay.
5.
5? Okay.
16.
20.
20?
and
Okay.
19.
So 20 and 19. Oh, that was all 3.
Yep.
Okay, so everybody's first round stealth check was what?
20.
20.
15.
15.
11.
11.
5.
5. Okay. All right. So, at one point, Bruce steps on a twig, which, like, snaps. And you guys, like... And a few minutes later, you hear, like, the conversation kind of... It just doesn't sound like they noticed you. So, second set of stealth checks was...
16.
16. I see shame. Go ahead.
12.
12.
22.
22.
Half of those.
What's it?
One of those.
1/11.
2.
Of that.
A 2. Okay.
You got 2 2s. I got 1 2.
I was, you said like half of that. I was like, 11's not bad. So unfortunately, so you follow them for about an hour, heading further into the woods, steadily like inclining. The trees start to become a little more sparse, and you have to kind of drop back a little further away, as there's not as much cover to kind of stay hidden behind. As the kind of the evergreen pine trees begin to get a little more sparse, and there's a little more bare rock as you start to kind of go up into the foothills a little bit. And as you guys get to a patch where there is a slightly steep portion, and you guys kind of have to clamber up a little bit over some like a steep portion of like loose kind of rocky earth. Unfortunately, Yarley, as you're getting sort of to the top, one of your feet you lose traction. Your foot kind of slips out from under you. You kind of fall. You were almost fully on like all fours as you were sort of clambering up, but you sort of slipped down. Your chest like smacking into the ground, and there is a great deal of like clatter as the slip of your boot causes a whole bunch of loose pebbles and earth and stone to like slide down the small slope. And you guys hear from up ahead of you, hear one of the bandits, the main one to be talking before, he goes, like, wait a second.
Hide. You guys hide. I have an idea.
And you hear him say, something's fishy. Split up. And a moment later, you hear the beginnings of like footfalls as they fan out and begin to approach back towards you.
I'm going to use thaumaturgy
Okay.
to make my voice boom.
Okay.
I'm going to shout out in giant, just nonsense.
Nonsense and giant. What are the rest of you guys doing?
Nonsense in giant
Hiding.
from wherever I am, and you guys just hide.
Yep.
Yep, hiding.
Hiding.
Okay. Are you also trying to like hide, or you just?
No, I'm just gonna wherever I'm at. Like,
Okay.
I'm just gonna start shouting in giant with my booming voice.
Okay. All right. So go ahead and make your stealth checks to hide.
16.
23.
14.
Okay. Alrighty.
I will also prep a javelin with the ready to action if I see one of them. I'm going to fling the blunt end first to try and do non-lethal damage.
Go ahead and, if you want to pick from that array there, if you want a different one, let me know. Grab a mini for yourselves.
This guy looks pious.
He's got an axe.
So you guys are like
Do you-
hiding off like somewhere, anywhere.
Yep.
Do you have any with a bandana on their head?
Probably somewhere.
How about a boom?
You can borrow Walter.
Or
Just
that guy
pretend
with,
to or there's like an
that bard?
actual fighter guy.
Oh,
out
that
there.
bard. Yeah.
Is that headless bard?
Headless
I have a version of that bard who still has his head if you want
Yeah, no, that'd
to.
be good.
You're gonna have that one.
Bruce is actually just 3 halflings in a trench coat. and
Three
some
halflings
light
in a
that
trench
is
coat.
invisible.
Oh god.
Yep.
Did they know
This
Steve?
is you.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was just wherever. I
Yeah,
I
well, I
don't
mean,
know
we'll
where
call
we
it.
were
We'll
hiding.
call it like right here, basically. How's that look on the
Oh, it's the same bard.
table
It's the same
cam?
bard.
Not bad. Let's scoot that. Just a little yoink ways this way is all. Because they don't need to see the very back of that. Okay. So as you guys head up into the into this sort of mountainous region, there's some trees scattered throughout here. As Yarley kind of stumbles and falls, you guys move off, taking some cover behind sort of some of the rocky and tree-like terrain here. And Yarley, you stand up and you use thaumaturgy and you just start like yelling nonsense in giant. And you do
I'm
hear
blinking a little bit and going,
Did you find it?
No, I don't know. It's fine. It's not.
Was it a dice that you dropped?
Yeah, the D8.
Yeah, we need to find it.
Yeah, it's a stone.
Because of Doges.
Oh, it's theirs.
Doges will eat it.
Best roll of the night. I rolled a 3.
hey.
You sort of start yelling this. You hear really nothing over the echo of your own voice. But a few moments later, as you're sort of yelling this, you kind of look and you see he had been approaching. He sort of is in mid cautious pause and was looking. You see, he was looking around. But at this point, since you're just kind of where you had fallen, you see that the one lead bandit is just looking at you at this point, anything you're doing?
I'm going to use thaumaturgy to make my eyes black.
Okay.
And I'm gonna stare at
Make
his
an
face.
intimidation check.
I'm going to stare at his face and say, "Foolish mortal, why are you here?" Nat 20? Plus
Okay.
2, so 22, I guess.
All right. So you make your eyes black and you yell out this threatening thing, and he takes a half step back from you, and he goes, "What? Are you one of us? We're doing what we're supposed to. What do you want?"
I'm here to collect. Take me with you. Take me to your people.
Make a persuasion roll.
17.
Okay.
It's not made 3.
He says, She knows where the camp is. What are you doing out here? What are you hassling us for?"
You know exactly why I'm here. You're late.
You see him look. You see the other two, as they had been fanning out. They don't notice any of you guys at all, as they're all just fixated on Yarley at this point. And they're looking sort of at each other, kind of at him. He says, "Okay, all right, just okay. We're nearly there. She'll get what she's owed. Just Whatever you need. There's no need for any violence.
Very well. Lead on.
Sort of like,
And I'll just walk up to him.
come on. Alright. So, these three kind of reconjoin. They're, They kind of are doing their best to, like, keep a little bit of a distance from you. And they're kind of, like, looking, they're making sure that you're, like, able to follow them.
Yeah.
But they do not seem keen on getting too close to you, as you get the impression that they don't really seem to know what you are at this point. What are the rest of you doing as they begin to lead Yarley?
Follow the sounds of their passage.
Yeah, I'm gonna hope that you continue.
Making a bunch of noise.
Yeah.
Okay. Make one more set of stealth checks, and I will give them disadvantage on their perception as Yarley attempts to distract them.
11.
21.
23.
Okay.
Expertise is great.
It is. Sadly, mine is not.
Yours was 11, you said?
Yeah.
What was yours?
20.
21
Okay.
and 23.
So, as you guys continue moving, Yarley continues to be ominous and kind of keep their attention. What seems to happen is he perhaps creeps out one of these guys a little too much, and he sort of gets a little. He makes an effort to get kind of away from where you're being led a little, as he doesn't really want to be super close to you. And as this is sort of going on and you guys are walking, he sort of turns and he just catches, like, as you're, like, moving from tree to tree, it seems like he like, catches a glimpse of you, and he goes, "Hi! Something's fishy! There's somebody else out here!" And the one who is in front of you then turns and says, "What? What do you mean?" I don't know, it's... someone else is following us. This one sort of turns back to you. He kind of looks at you with a little more scrutiny this time. He says, "What are you playing at?"
What are you playing at? Are you trying to get out of giving what's owed?
At this point, this guy is going to start kind of heading in your direction, like where he saw you. Make a deception check at this point.
An 11.
Okay.
Can I ready a crossbow?
Sure.
And basically, if there's chance of threat happening.
Yeah.
I guess I'll do the same thing.
I'm
Getting ready for action.
ready
I'll take it
the
fine.
blunt and the butt of my axe when that person comes around. I'm
Okay.
gonna knock him silly.
So as vicious wolves argue nearby, one of them gets put in a timeout room.
Vicious dire wolves.
I failed my stealth check. I didn't think that would work.
It worked all the way until I failed mine. I am sorry. Brilliant improvisation.
Well, we all agreed to be good at things this time. It's way more fun when things go poorly.
So
much more fun.
So that individual kind of looks at you and goes, "Oh, this is shit. This is politics. Boy, something's funny." Go ahead and roll initiative.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
I've never played a character with negative dexterity before, so
It's real bad.
it's
It's real bad.
Can I guidance myself real fast? Better initiative.
I don't think so. Okay. Only 4 of you guys this time. Adam, what is your initiative?
19.
19. Jason. 5.
Don't you worry about it.
Carlos.
8.
8.
8 or 44, I can't tell. Your expertise.
This is not Pathfinder.
And Becca.
8.
Also 8.
Oh.
Alright. Bruce and
our
Ruth.
bonuses are the same.
Okie dokie. So, the first to react as 3 short swords come out. The first to react, move that mushroomy guy like halfway between where he is now and where Murga is. Yes, like on that space.
Yeah.
That's good. Combat begins. And the first to react as swords come out is, in fact, Murga.
Oh, so much for subtlety. I come around the tree and I crack his head open with the butt of my great axe.
Alright, roll the hit.
That is not gonna hit. That's a whole whopping 8.
8 will not hit. So you come around and you take this swing, and he very quickly rolls back towards the trunk of the nearby tree, using it as cover basically. And your weapon clacks into the trunk of the tree, and he is not hit. And next to react is the little lizard guy there, that bandit.
Yep.
Yep, he's going to take 1 step forward, and he is going to take a melee weapon attack with his sword against Yarley or Yorley?
Yarley.
Yarley. That's going to be a 14 to hit.
Nope.
Okay. So
15 is my AC.
he basically takes a swing in your direction. And you just catch the blade in your shield, deflect it away. Ruth and Bruce, you guys are up.
Wow, they did almost as bad as we did.
I'm just gonna try to shoot this guy with a short bow.
Yep.
That's not very much. 15.
15 will hit.
Okay.
Echo, roll initiative. Forgot about that.
It worked first time.
It worked first time. There's enough people not here that we can.
14 piercing damage.
14 piercing damage. Alrighty.
Then I'll go over here and bonus action hide.
Okay. That was against the one who swung his sword.
Yeah.
Okay. So Yorley, you basically deflect the sword of this one off of your shield, and the kind of the reverb of the sword hitting the shield sort of bounces him back off balance, and as he's sort of regaining his posture, an arrow basically just comes flying out of the trees and goes right entirely through his head. And for a second, he looks like that comical arrow to the head joke bit, except there's streams of blood coming down both sides on either side of his head, and his eyes sort of just roll back and he fall dead to the ground. Let's go ahead and knock that guy over. He's dead.
Well,
I'm gonna
what else is there to say?
What do you got? What are you doing, Ruth?
shoot crossbows to the leader.
Crossbow with the leader. Go ahead.
7.
7 will not hit. So as this guy sees the... What's that?
Also a 1.
A 1.
We don't do crit fails. Luckily for you. But as this guy sees his buddy to the right of him, or what is he facing? Yeah, the right of him. Technically, the mini's facing the wrong way, but it should be to the right of him. Get dropped by an arrow. He sort of begins to kind of hunker down, and your crossbow bolt kind of sails past him. Yarley, you are up.
Wow, that guy's bad. So I'm just gonna yell out and murk the other one. We only need this one, and then I'm gonna cast the whole person.
Okay. So they. Does he make a spell save?
He makes a spell save. Sorry, I'm not used to clerics.
He rolls a 15 plus whatever what's the modifier for that?
The save is a 14.
Okay, well he makes it then.
Yeah, right. And then I will pee myself a little bit. I don't have any
Roll
bonus
for this.
action.
You are level 4.
Yeah. Roll for your nation.
I'm just gonna whip out my mace.
Okay, pull out your mace. You sort of point your holy symbol at him, and you see his arms begin to like clamp to his sides, but he shrugs his way out of the spell. He continues to move, and it is that guy's turn. The guy's gonna take a swing at Murga. That's a whole whopping 5, which I think makes his attack a total of 8, so he misses. No, it's okay. And last but not least, that guy is going to take a swing at you. Whoops. As a 15, I think he does hit you that time, right?
That is my AC.
Alright, so he slashes into you with his sword and deals 6 points of slashing damage to you.
Alright, 6 points.
So he kind of like cuts into you and he goes, "You don't know who you're messing with! This is a mistake!" And top of the order, Murder, you're up.
I'm going to again try and knock him out, and this time I'm saying S&P, drop the weapon. God, I hope that hits. That's a 20.
Yeah, it definitely hits.
Let's see. So I'm trying to do non-lethal, so again, trying to hit him with the butt of it.
Sure.
And that is 13 points of bludgeoning damage as
So you just
aiming for the head.
clock right in the temple with your the butt of your weapon, and his head, as he had been like using that tree for cover before, basically the weapon hits him, and his head is like into the tree like a 1-2, and he just like collapses unconscious, knocked out on the ground.
All right, and then 20, 25, 30.
Alrighty. Okay, that one's dead. Ruth and Bruce, you're up again.
I'm gonna come out of cover and walk forward quickly. So 5, 10, 15, 20. And basically just hold my action, but I have my bow ready in case.
Okay.
Move and bonus action dash should get me here.
Sure.
I'm just gonna like try to get a knife up to him from behind. Like, all right, take it easy.
But Yarley, what are you doing?
I'm gonna try to pistol him with my mace.
Okay.
Just try to non-lethal.
Yeah, roll it.
No, just it's an 8.
No,
Bad
it's
for
not gonna cut it.
modifiers, but like, actually, I don't think it's that. No, just it's fine.
So you kind of like take a swing at him and miss, and then like try and play it off like it was a warning shot.
Yes.
He, as you guys like converge on him, he sees his one buddy's dead, the other one is knocked out. He just like throws his weapon to the ground and puts his hands up. All right, just look. There's no need for any more violence. Everybody, just take it easy. I'll surrender.
Smartest decision you've made all day.
I'm immediately going to pat him down and take his stuff.
Okay. So you pat. You take off of him. He does have a light crossbow with 10 bolts stored in his back. He has a bunch of Neil's stuff, including that sack of 30 gold pieces, as well as some like assorted tools.
Yep.
And he had his sword, but that was already on the ground.
You're going to head back over here, pick up the unconscious man's sword, pick up the unconscious man, drag him back over, and flump him down to the ground.
I'm gonna take his stuff too.
Okay. Similarly, you pat him down. Another, like, 1/3 of Neil's stuff.
Did you have to shoot the one that kill him?
I thought you know it was me and not her.
I just stare at you. And keep staring uncomfortably long.
I'm too good of a shot. I can't help it.
Well, at least we kept one of them alive.
There's 2 of them alive.
Oh, good point. It means we only need one of them.
Echo, combat over.
So I'm just gonna collect all of Neil's stuff and make sure none of them have weapons. That's
Okay. Yeah, so you get all Neil's stuff. You disarm them pretty thoroughly. During the disarming process, the other one sort of comes to again. He's got like a matching pair of like purple welts beginning to swell on either side of his head. One from where you hit him, and the other from where he hit the tree.
Afternoon sunshine.
He kind of gets up. He's a little concussed.
I would recommend against that, Frank.
It's a tiefling.
He is
Said I would recommend against that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Getting up.
Oh, he's kind of sitting on the ground. He's like, I'd recommend against that. He's like, I wasn't doing nothing.
Hello, sunshine.
So, my bandity friend, clearly, someone is threatening you. Clearly, you're not strong enough to deal with you. How can we help you?
Why are we helping him?
It looks suspiciously at you.
Big fish versus small fish.
This sounds like more trouble than I'm getting paid for.
We didn't have to say we recovered 30 gold.
That's Neil's.
I mean,
We've collected a bunch of other stuff.
Anyway,
That stuff.
we can take that stuff. It's a great one.
As they begin to
just, like,
argue about
shove
whose
them.
stuff they're taking, the one bandit's like,
Who's the bandits?
what? What is happening here?
Anyway.
Never you mind!
S&P business. Don't eavesdrop. I hate eavesdroppers.
Sorry! Shit!
My intimidation roll's a 16.
Never you mind!
Anyway.
You're gonna tell us why you kidnapped Neil's wife, Nora.
And who she is.
You're gonna tell us where Nora is.
Is there more coming?
I mean, he did a good job filling in the rest.
Okay, I was waiting. I didn't know if there was more coming. He kind of looks for a second. The one kind of dead on the ground. The other he's just at this point he's just like kind of sitting. He's like.
Ladies and gentlemen, RDM, very impressive, being able to cross his eyes.
And he says, all right, just look, I can take you back to the camp. You can talk to O'Donnell. He's the one you need to talk to. We wasn't the ones who nabbed the farmer's wife. We just went back to try and collect the rest of what we were supposed to get. This whole thing is getting totally out of hand. Just, we'll take you back, talk to O'Donnell. You can straighten everything out with him.
Good answer. Carry your friend.
Sure. And kind of, he lifts him up, he puts an arm over his shoulder as his friend comes over, and he's like, oh.
I'd like to appropriate one of those crossbows. Javelin's nice, but this is better.
Alright.
He's not using it anymore. Just gesturing to the dead guy.
Good guy.
Taking the crossbow of the ghost of Tom Jod.
It's not a haunted crossbow. It could be a haunted crossbow.
It could be a Haunt, you don't know.
I'll just kind of like shuffle the body off into the trees.
The unconcussed remaining bandit looks as if he might want to protest that, but kind of keeps quiet as he's outgunned and potentially it seems like thinks you guys are a bunch of crazy people.
You can come back and bury him later.
Yep.
We did identify ourselves, right?
Somebody did something
Yeah.
to say you guys were Chimera Paula.
It's an excellent one. We should probably try that next time.
I should probably put this badge back on.
Just look at my badge, just like, oh yeah. I forgot I had that. This whole time.
How many more are at the camp besides O'Donna?
Some minus us. Maybe 12.
So 14 total.
Plus whoever this O'Donna reports to. Unless O'Donna's the...
For the record, I'm not a fan of these odds.
Is Nora being held there?
Yeah. They had her at the camp when we set out.
And she's alive?
Of course. Jesus, what do you think we are?
I think you're people who would threaten a farmer with violence and death if necessary, which is not something you want me thinking about you.
He kind of says like, "You people." As you guys, this all as you guys are sort of walking, he's like, "You city coppers, you've got no idea what's going on out this far."
We are willing to be enlightened.
Alrighty. So. You guys follow these guys perhaps another 30 minutes. And eventually you come to a point where there's a break in the trees and you see up ahead there is a bit of an open area and then a naturally formed sort of a cliff face with a number of flattened sort of tiered plateaus which form a partially sheltered kind of circular area here, the front of which a wooden palisade has been just constructed, essentially creating like a front gate into this open area, within which you can see just through what you see through the gate there. There's like a number of tents and campfires and things, clearly the setup of the camp here. As you approach, you see up on the kind of tiered platforms, there are a number of individuals at various heights. A series of ropes and ladders and things have been installed to connect some of these points, allowing for people to move around some of these higher vantages. As you guys kind of clear the trees, the bandit that you have been talking to, sort of leading his semi-concussed friend, he says, "We're coming back! We got some people with us here, need to talk to O'Donna. Everybody, somebody get the captain. Everyone just stand down, please." As you guys kind of come into the clearing, you hear kind of the commotion beginning. You see a number of people up above kind of taking up positions, sort of watching over you guys, armed with crossbows, short bows, things like that. There's a guard kind of here.
Oh, we found the secret garden.
Yeah, but look what rotten fruit's in it.
Around the back streets.
We're in a forest.
Just rough
Jungle
back
land.
streets of the forest.
It's jungle land back here.
So, a few minutes later, a couple of people kind of approach the gate here. Sort of taking up positions. They all are armed. One individual steps out a little ahead of them towards the gate here. He looks out. He is not particularly dressed in anything more elaborate or ornate than any of these other guys. He just looks to be like another one of the crew here. But he carries himself with a clear air of authority as he steps forward. And he looks at the two bands. Says, Lon, Elijah. Kind of looks past you. Says, seems you boys ran into some trouble. And looks at you. Says, what can I do for you, gentlemen?
Primarily, we're here to take what's her name again?
Nora.
Nora back. However, it's been brought to our attention that you are having some problems of your own. Perhaps we think we can assist you.
He kind of narrows his eyes at you and says, sees your badges. And he says, so, Chimera Polta. A couple of city cops found their way out to the sticks, eh? Listen. You really have no idea what you've walked into in this. It would be better for everyone. Us, you, the farmer, everyone. If you just went back to the city, said you'd looked into the matter, close the case, be done with it.
What is your intent with having captured them? Is it just to shake down the farmer, or
He kind of rubs a hand over his face, and you see a real sense of like weariness there. Like things are getting things have gotten out of hand for him. The woman some of my boys took, that was a mistake. The one responsible has been dealt with. We're just out here offering a service that the local law enforcement is too busy to take care of. My men are not kidnappers or murderers. What happened was regrettable, but you have to understand there is more at stake here than a single farmer's wife. We've done what needed to be done.
Here's the problem. You said that Nora's kidnapping is regrettable, and that the person responsible has been dealt with. She hasn't been returned home.
He says, like I said, there is more going on here than you understand. She's not here anymore.
Where is she?
Kind of, you see him frustration kind of getting in him, but you don't see him. You see him necessarily becoming aggravated with you guys so much as something has got him panicked. It's kind of for lack of something to slam his fists on. He kind of look. I can't. All right, you just look. We're bandits. I get it. There's a ring of the 9 hell waiting for me and my boys when we leave this mortal coil. But
Okay,
we do what we have to, just the same as anyone else.
You can't answer us. Maybe O'Donna can.
So who do you think you're talking to?
No, so you're O'Donna?
Like, Cormac O'Donough.
Okay. Who do you answer to? Because obviously you're answering to somebody, and you're terrified of them.
Make a persuasion check. Or intimidation, if you feel. you want to.
I'm going to go with intimidation because at least I have a +1 in that versus a -1. That is a 20, not natural.
Okay. He puts a kind of a hand up to his face. He looks around. You see him sort of looking at the other men that are gathered in the area. They're kind of watching him for his reaction. You see the same sort of almost desperate look on a lot of the faces of a lot of these bandits. And he says, "Fine. Promise me you didn't get this information from us."
We're good at our job. We find information how we need to.
We'll see how helpful you are.
And Don says, "Fine, it's your funeral. There's well, I would say woman, but that's insulting to the female race. There's a thing up in the mountains, moved in a few years ago. I don't know what she's called. We just call her her. Horrible creature, powers, dark magics. She's got the local little monsters, goblins, kobolds, those sort of things. A lot of them serve her. Those that don't directly serve her are like us, given an ultimatum. We get to continue breathing free air. In exchange, we take offerings from the people that live in this area. Bit of coin, bit of food, things like that. Never enough to take more than they can give, you understand? We keep a little bit of it ourselves to keep us alive. The rest goes to her. You have to understand, if we don't do what she says, it's not just us that's dead. It's everybody in this region. This is not Volrenheim. Out here, it's do what you need to survive. That's all we was doing.
And what changed recently?
I don't know. The demands for what we was supposed to bring got more. Started to be more than the folks in this region could afford. Some of the boys, he says, they're scared, you understand? Shit, I'm scared. The thing with the farmer's wife, I truly regret it. As I said, we're not kidnappers, and the one responsible has been dealt with the way we deal with it.
Death.
Aye. But she got word that we had taken someone. She wanted the woman. Disobeying one of her orders is how you find yourselves dead out here.
Sounds to me like you're worse than kidnappers.
You see, like, he truly, like, he seems ashamed of himself as you kind of you say this. And he sort of looks. He says, "I'll not make excuses. what we've done, whatever honor we might have had, is gone now.
We want to begin to make amends. Tell us how to find her.
Like I said, it's your funeral if you want to go after her. I can tell you how to get there.
Where's the offerings that you're going to take to her next? We will take them with us as a guise. A reason to go there.
They already went, including the wife. Left this morning. Sled, and he points kind of behind him, behind the camp, up into the mountains to a ridge slightly to the north of where you guys are standing. He says, there's a trail about a half a mile west of here. Follow it up. You'll see the wagon tracks from us and all the others like us forced to bring offerings. It'll take you right to the spot. That's where her cave is.
How long does it take to get there?
No more than an hour or so. Kind of looks at the sky. You can be there before sundown if you move quickly. But those that cross her don't come back.
Well, here's what I think's gonna happen. We're gonna go there and deal with this superstitious nonsense and bring Nora back so that I can go home. And we're gonna make a report that there's a group of bandits here that are participating in kidnapping and extortion and human trafficking. And it would be in your best interest to not be here when people come out to investigate. How's that sound?
Can I report that we were right?
Or, if they're willing to be helpful instead, perhaps we can tell in our report that it's the bandits, there was somebody a little more favorable out here. If they're willing to maybe send a few men with us to help.
You see immediately, he shakes his. I'll not send any of my men to their deaths at her hands. He says either you'll go up that mountain and you won't come down, and life for us will continue as it always has.
You know that's not going to happen. We disappear, S&P's going to send more.
We're tougher than the rest.
He kind of shrugs. He says, one way or the other. He says either you'll come back or you won't. If you do come back, congratulations. He says, and he kind of nods to you. He says, I believe we'll be taking you up on your offer. We don't need to be here any longer.
Believe we have as close to an accord as we're going to have.
He kind of nods, and some of the men kind of start to back away. These two sort of cautiously move away from you towards the camp, and O'Donna kind of looks long at you guys for a moment, and he says, perhaps. He looks to the man to his left here. He takes something out of his pocket. It appears to be like a dagger. He hands it to the man, and he says, Vilmos, lead the boys well. And he takes a few steps out of the gate. He puts a hand on the hip, and he says, if I can at least regain some scrap of whatever honor I might have once had, so be it. I'll not ask my men to go, but I'll join you.
Does he have a ranged weapon as well?
He does. You see, he has a short bow slung over his back, and just sword. It's better than nothing.
Congratulations, you've been deputized. Let's go.
kind of nods. You see these two pass him. The bandit camp is pretty much quiet as they just like watch O'Donnell start to head off with you guys. And I think that's a good place to take our break, as we have about an hour left in tonight's session, and the group heads off towards the lair of her. Okay, so thank everybody for joining us tonight. I see we got some new subs tonight. That's really cool.
Nice.
Hey.
We got some folks donated to the Extra Life cause. Also really cool. Thank you guys so much for that.
Thank you.
We very, very much appreciate it. We will see you guys in about 5 minutes when we return for the exciting conclusion of tonight's one shot. So thank you guys for joining us. Stick around. We'll be right back. Bye. Hello, welcome back. Thank you for sticking with us over the break. Everybody has peed. Eaten a fistful of trail mix in my case, as I didn't eat anything before this because life is what it is. But we're back, and the party is setting off with the now, I guess, ex-bandit captain Cormac O'Donnell amongst their ranks.
Deputy O'Donnell.
Deputy O'Donnell. Basically. Determined to join the party and at least sort of redeem himself somewhat from the shame that he brought upon himself by his men capturing an innocent woman and sending her off to the lair of the mysterious her. So we rejoin as the party follows the trail as indicated by O'Donnell. They head about a half a mile from the camp before they find the clear signs of multiple carts and wagons and sleds and things being brought up a trail that leads steeply up into the mountains. Donna does that while Olive steals things in the background.
Do you want to put it up here?
It takes you guys another few hours of traveling. As you begin to ascend, you make a walkable. No climbing is required. The whole thing is walkable, but it's fairly steep, so it's kind of tiring, huffing and puffing, exerting yourself as you trek up this path. As you get higher and higher, it begins to get colder and colder, and at a certain point, the rocks in the path are covered with snow and sleet. You think, not really at a high enough elevation to warrant this level of temperature change. It begins getting a little more difficult to catch your breath as the air becomes thin, but your breath comes out in fog clouds in front of you. Your fingertips and your toes begin to grow cold and stiff, and you have to keep kind of flexing them and blowing into them to keep them from jamming up on you.
It's really the Badlands up here.
I'm also still not forgiving you for that god-awful giant thing. I mean, for God's sakes, man.
Thaumaturgy. I'm just gonna thaumaturgy to like shake the ground like avalanche!
Actually, as you thaumaturgy, you kind of like, you're like, avalanche! And you realize you've stopped thaumaturgying, but the ground is still shaking. And you guys hear from up above, there's like a rumble, and an enormous amount of snow is barreling down the side of the side of the mountain.
If I die, this is totally your fault.
You have impeccable timing.
I need everybody to make dexterity saving throws.
Well, we were born
Alright,
to
well,
run.
I'll just jump right headfirst into the snow then, because I've got a negative.
That is a
Dex.
whole whopping 12.
Dex.
22.
Okay.
19.
19.
My shield is a sled.
Here's a 12.
Yeah.
What?
My shield is a sled.
What was your roll?
A 9.
A 9. Everybody, including O'Donna, except for Yarley, successfully makes the save. You guys basically manage to like scramble along kind of the rocky path that you're on, take shelter behind either trees or pieces of rock or like under overhangs of cliff faces as this torrent of snow just comes down the side of the mountain. Yarley, you basically get buried. So as the snow settles, you guys kind of are taking stock of who's where. You see that everybody is present except for Yarley, and you see just sort of the like very tip of like a boot sticking out of the snow near you guys. So Yarley, you are currently buried. You take you take 6 bludgeoning damage from the snow crushing into you. You are currently unable to breathe as you are sealed within this snow. So you're basically able to hold your breath for, I believe it is a number of rounds equal to your Constitution modifier.
I think it's the Constitution score.
That might be right.
I think it's I thought it was a number of minutes equal to your Constitution modifier. It could be Constitution.
It's one of those things. It's a very long time.
I'm looking for the drowning rules here because it essentially is the same. I just want to double check this.
Well, we've had better days.
Still better than the sewer.
It's amazing how good his timing was.
I am making my way toward the boot.
I'm just like aggressively wiggling my boot.
After 1 plus Constitution modifier minutes of holding your breath. So what's your Constitution modifier?
2.
2. Okay, so you
Plus
can
2.
you can essentially staying completely still. You can essentially hold your breath for 3 minutes before you suffocate to death.
Okay.
So you guys see him, or his foot anyway, under the or sticking out from the snow.
I'm making my way toward that as quickly as possible.
All right. Conrad also kind of lumps over there. You guys kind of begin to dig. Takes you about 30 seconds. As you start to try and like pull, go ahead and make a strength check.
Oh wait, no, I'm not raging, but that's a 17.
Okay.
21.
Okay. So you guys manage to kind of like dislodge him a little bit, but as he's like packed in there and he's wearing armor and has like a shield and stuff, you're gonna have to like dig him a portion of the way out.
This is why you don't thaumaturgy and you screw up the giant language like this.
So go ahead and make anybody who is trying to dig him out, go ahead and make dexterity checks.
5.
5.
I rolled a nat 1.
9.
O'Donna critted, so
Okay.
he's helping. As presumably Ruth is like, what a dumbass.
Go.
You kind of watch as they sort of dig. After about a minute and a half, they've kind of like unburied the bottom portion of your body. You can feel them like digging you out, and you have to like kind of hold still as like, your head begins to hurt from like holding your breath and being upside down, and your lungs are burning. It takes them, by the time they finally like pull you out of the snow and you're able to like get your breath, it took them probably like 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes. So you were like getting a little lightheaded and starting to see like stars in your vision, but they finally pull you back out, and you're kind of resting on the bed of snow.
Okay, he's still alive.
I think I saw it in the bathroom.
Who?
I don't know how to explain it. It's not the deed I'm a cleric of.
How hard did you hit your head to see another deity of... Wait.
How hard did you hit your head to see any deity?
You shut up.
Just like pointing at my cleric symbol.
Yes,
Just-
I know you believe in this.
Shut up.
Anyway, how long was I? Never mind. Just I'm done messing around. I've learned my lesson.
Had you?
Just holy symbol to the sky. Lesson learned.
as you guys pick up and continue
Who
moving.
is your deity?
It doesn't say.
Okay.
Not the bad one, because
Okay.
it's more funny
Lord
than
and
not.
personal Savior Jesus Christ.
It's canon. It's fine.
Yeah, no,
Uh,
yeah, that's good. You know how hard you have to get hit to see a deity than an entirely other?
You guys continue making your way up, and as you begin to get close to where you had been pointed from down below, the wind begins to violently pick up with just this howling. Snow and sleet are coming down. You have basically walked into a blizzard.
This can't be natural.
Unseasonable blizzard.
I'm going to look at the blizzard. Just look. I don't think Egeria has a warming problem.
Does that?
Warming?
It's a
Global
conspiracy-
what?
It's a conspiracy theory. there.
Unfortunately, the current president of Villand does not believe in it, so...
No, it's the other way. It's a conspiracy theory there.
Oh, I see.
I'm gonna cure with myself.
Okay, you're with yourself.
Just yeah.
5 copper, he does something stupid again.
Can't do anything stupid when I'm curing wounds. I heard that.
I don't know. It's even odds him or him.
5:15.
Hold on. Does saying something stupid count?
No.
Alright.
Actions speak louder than words.
Alright, I'll do that.
Yeah, it's enough.
I like spit in my hand and.
Then, right.
freezes.
Oh god, it froze.
Freezes. So, you pull your hands apart.
So how much do I get for you doing something stupid
I
first?
flick a copper roof just like you win.
You
Today is a good day.
you find yourself standing at the mouth of the cave. The opening is about 10 feet wide, slightly less than that high, a bit oblong in shape. As you look within, you see nothing but darkness beyond a couple of feet of the mouth of the cave. The kind of wagon and sled tracks that you have been following up to this point, that they are pretty well covered over by like a thickening layer of snow, you see lead right into the mouth of that cave. Donna sort of points and says, "That'll be it."
Certainly darkness on the edge of town.
Well, stay out here and not do any goddamn thing. You want to be sneaky and lead off, or shall we just stroll in and say hello?
I mean, how many of you believe in this mysticism stuff?
I don't care what you believe or don't believe, and I'm asking you, do you want to try a stealth approach, or are we just going to walk in and start breaking face?
Well, if you all think it's nonsense, then we just walk in. It's just a woman. What are you gonna do? If you guys are worried about it, then yeah, I'll go.
Yeah, let's stealth.
Alright.
Yell if you need me.
I'm sure it'll be fine.
Alright, so you guys are walking in.
No, I'm gonna sneak up to the front of the cave.
Alright, make yourself check.
24.
Alrighty, so you very quietly approach the mouth of the cave, and lean in and take a look inside. Go ahead and make a perception to see what you see.
14.
Ahead of you extends a tunnel. So the mouth of the cave, fairly straight. It doesn't actually look, though the walls are rough stone, and the floor is kind of a little uneven and looks a little bumpy in places. It's a little too straight that it doesn't necessarily look like it is a natural formation. But it progresses about maybe 70 feet, you gauge, straight away from you. At the far end, you see another opening through which some sunlight, kind of the cold gray light of this snowy region that you've entered, is shining through, as if this is a kind of a tunnel through like a chunk of mountain that opens up into an open space beyond. Other than the light at the end, from what you can see from the outside here, the tunnel is featureless. It's just a straight shot of tunnel.
Come up. What's up?
I follow.
Yeah, I'll follow after him.
Yeah.
I will be last, following up the rear.
When
I'll
they
be-
got there,
I'll be behind him, right exit ready.
Odana,
Steps forward a little bit.
you've been up here
Like-
before?
This is never further than the mouth.
Where does she usually show up? Is she on the other side of that? She came from somewhere else?
This is her followers typically come here, take whatever offerings we leave, we bring, and take them through further in.
You said they're kobolds, goblins.
Mostly kobolds. Few goblins, but mostly kobolds.
Kobolds.
Have you seen signs of your men? You were supposed to come up here this morning, right?
He nods, he says they didn't return. I don't see them, obviously, here. I
Alright.
fear the worst.
Well, give me like 30 or 40 feet and I'll go up ahead.
Alright.
We'll do the same thing, just gonna slowly start making my way through, checking for traps and things, because I don't believe that she is magic, but I am not an idiot.
Okay.
Alright.
I'm gonna try to get to the other end, and if I hear anything on the way, just stop there. I just want to get some idea what's going on.
Okay, so you head in about 30, you start to be headed about 30 feet. What are the rest of you
I'm
doing?
just gonna try to have them be like 30-ish feet
Yeah, I'll be-
behind me.
Okay, so
Uh,
like they
basic-
give you a little head start,
Yeah.
and then you all start kind of moving in.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. Alrighty. So go ahead. You said you're looking for traps. Go ahead
Yep.
and check for traps.
Is that investigation? or
Yes, I
perception?
believe that's an investigation check.
Yeah.
13.
13. Okay. Alrighty. So, as you enter in here, you get a little bit of a head start on the group. You guys begin to follow in, entering into the tunnel, kind of keeping back, allowing Ruth to go first. And you start to look, kind of checking the floors, checking the walls, checking the ceilings, looking for tripwires, things of that nature. And as you enter in, and you're looking around, you hear the sounds of what sounds like scuttling feet and this sort of vaguely reptilian chittering. It seems to be coming from within the walls themselves. And as you start to look, you start to notice there are a few spots where the walls don't quite look right. You notice there's some spots where the floors are perhaps a little oddly uneven. And nothing immediately springs out at you as like the obvious like function and type of like trap that you're looking at, but you see the signs of things that look wrong in this hallway, immediately like setting you on high alert of like this hallway is trapped. And as you're kind of like looking and you sort of see as you're all entering the thing, like from what you can see, it's just like traps all the way down.
So I'm going to just like hold up a hand to get them to stop wherever they are, and then like back off to where they are. I don't know how, but that doesn't look right. There's something trapped over there. I don't know what it is. I don't know what we want to do. You can throw stuff at it. Someone else can take a look.
Madonna, you said goblins?
Kobolds, mostly.
Are you guys opposed to me shouting out in Goblin that we have new offerings? To see if we can get a small group to come towards us to collect them.
So as you guys are kind of talking about this, you like halt. The warning from Ruth is the only thing that like sets you guys like on edge enough to like be prepared as you guys have come to a stop. That like skittering of footfalls somewhere within like the rock walls begins to like pick up pace, and you hear that kind of chittering back and forth. And there is from somewhere deep within the rock somewhere you hear this like and an extensive set of what sounds like pulleys and ropes and chains like moving all around you guys begins.
Oh, this
We should back up.
There is the creak of a spring, perhaps, of some sort, straining under pressure. Everyone roll a perception check.
11.
14.
8.
Double deuces, 22.
22. Alright, so everybody was above a 10, right?
Nope, I had an 8.
Oh, you were an 8. Okay, so you were an 8, but you are further ahead than the group, so this is, like, more applicable to you guys. You hear that creak and then of something winding tension and then releasing. And, so since you guys all made this, everybody make a dexterity save. Not Ruth, you're far enough ahead that this doesn't affect you quite yet.
15.
Okay.
Advantage. Yay, 19.
Okay.
Are we making with advantage? Or
I am because I'm a barbarian.
Just normal.
okay. Cool. No.
No. Okay. He rolls a no.
I rolled a 7.
No, that's not high. So, what does happen?
Order new dice.
At the last possible second, you
Oh,
guys
Dragon Core!
Right for it.
you guys notice the that sound of that like spring being released accompanies a set sort of near like kind of near the mouth of the cave where you guys are. A set of rusted iron spikes fires out of the ceiling. You guys, warned by Ruth's kind of catching of this like trap situation, are able to like dive forward out of the way. Yarley, you are just like nicked in the like across the calf by one of the spikes as you guys just like start to run forward. You take 4 slashing damage, or piercing damage rather, as it like shaves a divot into your calf. So as that happens and you guys like begin to move forward, from your kind of like examination of this before, and you're sort of listening to this like some sort of rudimentary machinery, it sounds like, operating within the stone walls here. You start to hear the like clinking that you guys recognize as you're being like forced forward, essentially. Another set of spikes is like preparing to wind up. The one that came down now basically bar the way back, as they are down to the ground and too narrow to fit between. And you can hear the next set beginning to go, and as you're sort of like looking at this and kind of evaluating, your intuition tells you that basically this, whatever this series of traps is, it's basically designed to force intruders to like have to run the gauntlet, trying to evade the traps down to the other side, otherwise be like decimated by whatever's in your path. You've got about 30 feet on these guys before the probably kobolds started to set the trap off, as it seemed like they were kind of waiting for their prey to move into position. So you've got some room to play with, whereas the rest of the party, you guys are now basically having to start running, and like the traps are starting to trigger behind you as you start to run.
Follow me unless I die. I'm just going to try to avoid at least the spots on the floor that I noticed before.
Sure. All right. So the clanking and the creaking of the hidden trap system constructed by the kobolds is joined a moment later by their cackling laughter and frenzied hoots as you guys take off running. You'll have to move quickly if you want to stay ahead of those. And then quickly, everybody make another dexterity check.
Check or saving throw.
Should I just
Save.
lay on the ground at this point?
Nat 1.
Oh boy.
17.
Okay.
Oh shit. 13.
20.
Okay. So, who was below a 10? Just you. Just you? Okay. So, a stone thunk is all the warning you get as you pass through the next section of tunnel and catch a dozen arrow slits slide open in the walls on either side of your group. Unseen crossbows unleashing their payload from within. The hisses and yips of kobold operators ringing out. Bruce, you take 2 piercing damage. You got a 1?
Yeah.
You take an additional 5 piercing damage. You take 7 piercing damage total. As you continue to run. You guys kind of continuing your sprint, narrowly avoiding the worst of the trap. You guys kind of getting out ahead of it. Ruth is still like kind of further ahead of you guys. As you kind of pass by that arrow trap, a second set of spikes come down, and you begin to realize the spikes are going to keep coming down this hallway, forcing you to run forward through whatever gauntlet of stuff they have set up aside of you. You keep running at this point. Everybody can go ahead and make an intelligence check.
Oh, God.
Check or save?
Check.
Just a straight intelligence check?
Straight intelligence check.
13.
9.
Okay.
Also 9.
Alright, so my...
And no.
A 1?
Yup.
Okay, you have a -2 on your saves for the remainder of the gauntlet. My people in the 6 to 10 range, you have a -1 on your saves. 11 to 15 range, a +1. 16 to 19 is a +2. And then 20 plus is a +3. I don't think anybody got that far.
+1 on what saves?
You're about to make a series of checks as you run this
No.
gauntlet.
So you're
I-
-1 to
Minus
all the saves that happen next.
No,
So-
I was in the 13.
Oh wait, you got high.
Yeah.
You got low.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that 13 gives you a +1 to your checks.
Yeah.
Borrow that.
6 to 10 range is a -1.
So I can only have a -2.
And you're a -2. So, you guys continue to sprint forward. Ruth, make either an athletics or an acrobatics saving throw. Or check, rather.
Acrobatics. That is not great. That is a 12.
12, okay. You take 7 piercing damage as you kind of are doing your best to sort of jump and dodge and dip and avoid traps. So you hit a portion of floor that you had not realized, and it kind of gives way under your foot, basically triggering as like this piece of floor goes down. It like swings forward a concealed, basically board with a bunch of like wooden stakes put through it. And as you sort of hurtle yourself trying to leap over it, it catches you a little bit. You take 7 piercing damage.
Not there.
As you kind of like
Not there.
roll to the side. As the rest of you continue going, make a... as he's already like triggered this one, make an athletics or an acrobatics just with, I guess with advantage, because you can like the thing is already up after Ruth has passed, or Ruth has passed it.
16.
16.
22.
22.
Actually, can I make a strength check to just try
you have an
and
8.
bash it down?
Sure.
Acrobatic
Okay.
is
Oh.
higher.
18.
18.
21, natural 20.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. Minus 2. So 19, it's a natural
21. Basically, I'm trying to kick it underneath the spikes or between the spikes to slam it back down
Okay.
to ease everyone's.
You do take a point of piercing damage as like you kind of like rip yourself a little bit on the way through, but you manage to like smash part of it down, and you guys are able to kind of get past it as you continue to run.
Shut up and keep running!
As you guys continue to run, not Ruth, but the other 3 of you make a dexterity saving throw.
9.
10.
8.
All 3 of you fail. You guys take 6 piercing damage as another set of arrows shoots out of the walls in your guys' direction. You are, Ruth, you are like 15 feet from the other end of this tunnel at this point, kind of like running for it. Make an acrobatics check.
9.
A 9. Okay. You step on a piece of what looked like stone floor, but as you step on it, you feel it like collapse with this sort of rushing wind noise. And you basically realize at the last moment, somehow these kobolds built like a big bellows into the floor. And as you stepped on it, it like stokes an unhidden flame somewhere within the rock walls. And a big like burst of like fiery air shoots out. You take 5 fire damage as like you're like singed, your eyebrows burn off.
Not there either.
The rest of you make either an acrobatics or a strength check. Ooh.
I can't do any better than that.
Not safe. So acrobatic is way better for you.
So
23, natural 20.
Okay.
14. 15.
15?
14 after my modifiers.
Okay, so you guys kind of line yourselves up as you're running to sort of not trip yourselves up as these traps kind of continue to go. All the while, these spikes are coming down beside you. You guys hit a springboard, another one of these like springboard things on the floor, and you hear the sound of a mechanism like click, and a bunch of poison-tipped darts fling from the walls. You guys are able to like dive forward beneath the plane of these darts going across, kind of come to a roll and come back up running, just in time to watch Ruth get like a royal of flame come into his face, and he like points out like, "Don't step there!" As you, Ruth, like dive out of the opposing mouth of this this hallway. I need one more dexterity save.
14.
Okay. You kind of like dive out, kind of roll to safety. You hear something above you as you like dive through the exit. But as you like look back, nothing happens. You just see the other 3 of your party like sprinting towards you, avoiding that fire bellows trap that you had pointed out to them. And as you guys cross the plane, as a set of spikes inches behind you coming down, I need a one last dexterity check from you guys.
Is Odella still with us?
Oh yeah, he's been making these checks.
Okay. Net 20.
Okay.
20, not natural. Yeah, 20, not natural. Thank
Okay.
you, advantage.
So you guys, 3. Okay. You guys dive out. Actually, Dunak does fail that one. You guys dive out. Kind of coming up, rolling. Odunna and Yarley are a little bit behind you, and as they go to like break the plane of the last mouth of this cave, you hear Ruth, what you had heard from before. You hear like something vaguely metallic, like tip, and then like, and from a concealed like slot right in the mouth of this cave opening, this like viscous, burning hot, like black goop just like dumps out of the ceiling and like coats both you and O'Donna. You take no damage from this, but you are basically like coated in this like gloopy black stuff.
It's like the sewers all over again.
Yeah, but less happened to you this time.
Just wiping my face and just glaring at Ruth. Just,
Oh, he said one of us was going to learn whatever they say that thing is that gets people clean. Whatever that trick is.
Tradition?
Yeah.
No.
It's a cool trick.
Well, they didn't believe in tricks like that.
I mean, they're all tricks. That one's a good one.
You say that because the local wizard cast that on you after the sewers.
Yes.
As a matter of fact, that was the one time I heard you not complain about magic in general. In fact, you were going, thank you. Oh, by the gods that don't exist, thank you.
It's a good trick.
So, you guys emerge into a somewhat open area. The sky up above is kind of dark and gray and gloomy, obscured by... You're like here, essentially. These guys. Obscured by the howling blizzard that is persisting up above. The space is devoid of any structure that does not appear to be made of ice. There are strange formations, spiraling, intertwining helices of ice, crystalline, large, like stalactites and stalagmites rising up from the ground or like dangling off of rocky overheads above. There are even what appear to be though they don't bear much of a resemblance to the standard piece of furniture, they are these structures with flattened surfaces that are being used as like tables and shelves, and they're all manner of bizarre, strange things on the shelves. They are all kind of crusted over with this layer of frost and ice, jars containing things floating. You see like all sorts of herbs and occult-looking things. In the center of this area, there is a large metal cauldron that is kind of gently bubbling. Behind it, you see a single figure is standing. She is hunched over. She's wearing these kind of tattered, graying, kind of slightly moldering, but like coated in a layer of frost, like robes and hood. You see she leans on a crooked staff of like a grayish, almost like driftwood looking material. The hood is pulled deep over her features, obscuring them. All you see is kind of the tip of a hooked nose. Her skin has a sort of like bluish hue to it, as if she is somebody who has been like out in the is freezing and has like lost all circulation to her extremities. And you can just see kind of like some slight tufts of wild, unruly white hair. And as she stands there, you get the impression she's watching you, even though you can't really see her eyes. And a few moments later, she speaks, and she says,
Oh, we don't get many visitors up here. Have you come to see me? How delightful. Come closer, children.
I'm gonna just cast Cure Wounds on myself
okay.
again.
Quite the welcoming party.
Indeed.
Oh, yes, my little dearies, they do try to make sure that no nasty hooligans come up here and do me harm.
What happened to, Oh.
I'm using that as.
I pulled the other one. This is it. This is it, Donna.
Okay.
What happened to me?
Or do you want to?
He's like staying right by the entrance there. He's like, you kind of see him. He's like,
I'm pulling up the rear.
she just seems to be waiting. She's watching you guys.
We were told that a young woman was brought here.
Oh, yes, indeed, indeed.
Where is she?
Oh, she's around.
Where?
Around.
I glance around. Can I roll a perception?
Sure.
I'm also going to be looking around.
Nat 20 plus 1.
Okay. As you begin to look a little more closely at the things on the shelves, as well as some of these like crystalline ice structures that are around here, you begin to take note that in some of the jars and within the confines of some of these structures, you begin to make out shapes that are vaguely humanoid. As if there are bodies or portions of bodies concealed within these icy structures around the room.
I do a perception check as well. I notice this. Oh yeah. Now I'm curious.
I also rolled a extremely high number, so I guess we all get to see this horrifying nonsense.
I'm just using these. I don't have any like good markers for, but this is like each of these is where there's one of these like structures. She says,
Tell me, you've come all this way. Are you here to join my little collection?
Not hardly. I rage,
"Okay,
and I'm gonna make it.
We're gonna go into initiative."
Okay.
Yeah. Go ahead and roll initiative. Echo, roll initiative.
Do I still have a minus 2?
No,
Okay.
that was just for the trap portion. Actually, Echo, turn the lights in the game room blue.
13.
Works nice with the
16.
air conditioning being on way too low.
16 was.
You're about 16?
Hell,
No, you were
14. 14. No. 13. 13.
We got
16.
80. Get an 80 initiative.
We're good. 13 was Bruce. You were 20, you said?
23.
23.
Good God.
23.
That was at 15.
Ruth. 15. Yarley. a whopping 4 for O'Donna.
I think he's scared. Ooh,
It was nitro, it's not anymore. It's just black.
like you're so.
All right. So the first to act as Murga basically like hulks out is Ruth.
I guess here we go. I'm gonna step up and try to kick this over.
Okay. Make a strength check.
It's gonna go poorly. 15.
15. So you kind of walk over and you lift and you go to push and it's like abnormally heavy. And as you are standing over, you get a whiff that is like, it smells like the most delicious stew you have ever smelled, as well as like that sensation of like a certain smell triggering like a memory from your past. Like you just start getting like hit with that left and right of like it smells like all sorts of things at once, impossibly somehow. And as you're like smelling this, and it's like, oh, it's wonderful. You catch a glimpse as you're trying to like to push it, and in contrast to how good it smells, as you look at it, it looks like boiling vomit. And there's like you see as there's like bones and like whole bits of like not skinned, not like defurred, or anything, like rats and stuff like bubble up in it. It looks disgusting, but it smells like the best thing you ever smelled. But it's super heavy, and you're like, and you're not quite able to get it to like tip. Anything else, Jern?
Nope.
Okay. That brings us to the lady there. So, actually, that brings us to something else. Forgot to put this in here. So, she says, as you guys are like kind of starting to rush forward to her. She takes about a half a step back from the cauldron, so we can move her back there in the cauldron. Still clutching that staff, but she like lets go of it with one hand and then like straightens up a little bit. And what had at first appeared to be like a hunched kind of old woman elongates out to like a 9.5 foot tall, disgustingly slender, still with like a humpback abomination, basically. And you catch like a glimpse of her face. She has these two, like her eyes are like bulging out of the sockets, which almost seem to have like receded towards the like the features of her skull, leaving her with this like enormous like manic look on her face. Similarly, her lips are like curled back, revealing far too much gum above and below, and like the hollows inside her, on the insides of her cheek, her teeth are just like rotted and yellow. She has this twisted, like maniacal, insane appearance on her face as she starts to like loom above you. And she says,
Now, dearies, I wouldn't go touching that!
And she stamps the staff on the ground, and from the point where it makes contact, there's like the blizzard that had been like going outside basically whips into a frenzy in this space, and all of a sudden it becomes very difficult to see like very far in front of her face. You can still kind of make out the outline of where she's standing in front of you, but your vision, and you get the impression of like moving through this is going to be difficult. Now it's her turn, and she is going to use a spell. spell is... So, centered on like the space kind of between you guys.
So here, I guess, is like the most center.
There's a 20-foot radius, so let's see. The starting, we'll say, with like where these guys are. So 5, 10, 15, 20. 5, 10, 15, 20. Yeah, so basically like planting here,
Yeah.
catching all of you guys.
Okay.
This, like, the whipping of the wind begins to sort of like coalesce into a solid cylinder, which goes from like this vortexing cyclone to then just straight down onto you guys. So a hail of rock-hard ice pellets pounds into the ground. Everybody within the cylinder, so that's everybody, needs to make a dexterity saving throw. And the target is... 14.
18.
Okay.
No.
I just want to say no without rolling because. Oh yeah, no.
So, for those of you that failed, you take 17 points of cold damage.
Does resistance apply from the rage thing?
Does your rage protect you from elemental?
Everything but psychic. According to this, resistance half damage to all but psychic.
With the bear totem.
Yeah.
Bear totem?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you'll take half.
Okay.
Those who succeeded take half. So you'll take 8.
Okay.
Okie dokie. So, that is her turn, and she begins to just kind of like, as you guys are bludgeoned by this just relentless force of ice coming down, she just is letting out this like laughter that's like grating against the ear. And Murga, you are now able to react.
Okay. So raging and keep laughing. No, but yes. So I'm making a strength check. I am going to pick up or try to pick up the cauldron. I can lift half a ton,
Okay.
and I rolled a natural 20, so that's a 24. So I pick
You
it
do
up
manage to like.
and I try and throw it at her.
All right. Make an attack roll. Just strength. What's your strength? We got another.
That's a 24.
That'll hit.
Yeah.
All right. So go ahead and roll a 1d6 plus your strength for your damage. There.
Plus the rage, so 9 points of damage. I just pick it up and
Okay.
throw it literally at her.
Keep laughing.
Don't touch that.
I'm doing it.
Yeah.
You're like, and you just
No.
throw this cauldron at her.
I was not doing
Both you and Ruth are like sloshed with the contents of this cauldron as you hurl it towards her.
And I make the giant battle cry, yeet.
Yeet!
I understood that reference.
The cauldron does like clatter into her, though. For something so like spindly in nature, it does hit her, and she does like kind of stagger back with this sort of like, but it doesn't like crush her down like you might expect for throwing this enormous cauldron into this, into this like spindly old looking woman.
Please tell me it splashed her.
She gets like doused in this,
Yes.
which makes her even more horrifying to look at. Is now she's like a monstrosity, and it's also like dripping in like bile and ichor and dead bits of things.
Delicious.
That's good. And my other action is just to draw my axe.
All right, Yarle, you're up.
Oh, I am.
That's you.
I forgot what my name was. I was like, why are you doing that? Yeah, I'm going to walk over, try to get like behind here. I think. Yeah. Just like behind, away from people, because I don't want that cylinder boom to happen again.
Okay.
And I'm going to cast Cure Wounds on myself again.
Okay.
I have horribly injured. That's gonna be the first line spell. 6 plus 4 plus 2 plus my constant level. And that's all I'm doing.
Okay. All right, that brings us to Bruce.
I am going to use my longbow.
All right. Will hit.
8.
8 to hit, and
Yeah.
8 will not hit.
Yep.
As you fire off in her direction through the like obscuring of this like blizzard that's going on. You kind of fire the arrow, and you see it like leaves your bow and like sails off in the rushing winds.
Can I take steps just to try to get more coverage there
Sure.
afterwards?
All right, O'Donna, can he move 30 feet to her? Probably can't get to her, right?
He
30
can't-
feet gets
can't
in
get
there.
to her.
All right, he'll move there, and he'll draw his sword. He'll ready an action that if she comes in that direction, he'll attack her. Alrighty. Now, so Bruce, as you take cover behind this large, like pillar, like structure, and you're peeking out from behind it, you're like your attention is pulled as you're this deep crack in the ice, and it is mirrored by these other pillars in the area as they begin to crack and crumble apart. And as large hunks of the ice fall away, what begins to crawl out of them are frozen, partially decayed. Some of them are humans, some of them appear to be goblins, kobolds, zombies start crawling their way out. So one of them will attack you.
Oh, of course. I just want
Does not hit for sure, rolls a 1. One of them will move to O'Donna, one of them will move to the cleric. So O'Donna misses O'Donna, the cleric misses the cleric. The one behind her there moves up next to her. And the one there, move it 30 feet towards the two of them, see if it can get to them.
5, 10, 15.
Alright, it's going to take an attack against the smaller of the two targets there, Ruth, and that is going to miss. So, all the zombies suck! As they basically come crotchety, frozen joints, like rickety movement.
Does one of them look newer?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
Of the zombies that you see here, the ones that are human all appear to be male. You don't see a female one.
And I yell to O'Donnell, "You recognize any of these guys?"
As he's kind of like fending one off, as it's like, he's like, yes! Which brings us to top of the order. Ruth, you're up. The zombie has clambered towards you.
Bonus action, disengage.
Alrighty.
Stab her in the face.
Do it! Roll the hit.
Can you reach her face?
If I believe hard enough. 19.
A 19 will hit. Roll damage.
10. Here's some
10
damage.
damage. Okay.
Being all faithful.
Alright, so you basically stab at her.
She's just an old woman. What are you talking about?
It's a horrifying monstrosity. Is 5 feet tall.
Then to summon zombies.
I have my head on the way out.
She then really puts your disbelief to the test as she takes that gray staff that she's carrying. She basically like twirls it around and like sets it basically behind herself vertically, and then like hops up, seating herself upon it, and her feet come up off the ground. And she then this will invoke an attack of opportunity at the very least, but she then takes off up into the sky.
10.
A 10 will not hit. The power of your disbelief keeps you from quite being able
I wasn't ready.
to comprehend.
Animatronics.
Animal what? You're fighting a rogue Chuck E. Cheese mascot right now.
This is not Five Nights at Johnny's.
Takes off into the air. At this
Johnny
point,
99.
I'm legitimately not sure what would be more horrifying is like a Chuck E. Cheese animatronic covered in vomit, or like this hag thing covered in vomit and flying. Just T-posing at us.
So she up into the air, and she is going to cast another spell as she begins to fly around on this staff. She points one overly long, gnarled finger back down in your direction, and she's Ruth.
I stabbed her.
I'm pretty sure she's gonna miss
I
though.
earned this.
Does a 14 hit you?
No.
So, it like points down, and this like icy beam of magic shoots from her finger. And you're able to kind of like jump back as it smashes into the ground in front of you, sending like flecks of ice and shards of slush and bits of stone up, kind of peppering your knees, but not striking you directly. That is going to be her turn. And Murga, you're up. So she's now about 30 feet up in the air above you.
You have a convenient zombie to murder.
Yeah, there's a.
Alright, roll the hit on the zombie. Andy. Crits again. Nice. Alright, roll damage.
16 plus 6. 22 points of slashing damage.
Okay. I don't think. Oh, maybe.
You just kind of sleep with your axe.
Yes.
Just so that I can't be accused of cheating.
You can't read the number.
It's not a number. It's the symbol for the critical.
Okay.
Okay. So
I'm like, what number?
What's your great axe, right?
Yeah.
You cleave straight through the better part of this zombie's torso, from clavicle down to like almost where the belly button is, and it like crumbles to the ground, almost split in half. And you like pull your axe back out, and as you begin to turn to like reassess the rest of the zombies and the witch, you hear from the ground. And as you turn, you look, and you see the zombie, the flopping half of its body to one side. Its arm comes back, and it pulls itself back into one piece, and stands back up, holding the upper portion of its torso together. As it's like,
Is it like a little off?
it's not. Yeah, it's not very even. It's like it's basically holding itself back together as it just gets up. This sort of like expressionless, just like as it prepares to keep coming.
Lots of cursing in giant and orc. Things that I cannot say on a Twitch stream.
The only way that the undead fortitude was going to allow that to get back up with the amount of damage you did was if it crit.
No, that is entirely cool. Yeah, it's like, oh, you've got to be kidding me!
Yarley, as you hear the cursing emanating as Murga cleaves a zombie in half, only to have it stand back up to try and keep fighting him, it is your turn.
As I watch like collapse in half, I'm like, and it's like it just races. It's like no.
Alright, roll the hit.
Does a 13 hit?
Oh, yeah.
Hooray!
But they use that as a marker for whatever amount of damage he does to that one.
Yeah, that did 2 points of bludgeoning damage.
Put that on a 2 there for me.
I can find it too, I promise.
Alright, so you basically just like fuck into the top of its skull with your mace, and it's like
Just
as it continues to come towards you. Bruce.
I'm going to ignore the zombie in my face
Okay.
and attack her with my bow.
Okay, roll the hit.
8.
8 will not hit. So again, you fire that bow, but the wind's whipping around. Pull it off course. You hear it scatter into the wall behind you. Or behind her, rather.
This is my nice jam.
The whole thing.
Just the whole thing.
Alright, O'Donna. Well, O'Donna can't reach her anymore, so O'Donna will turn and attack the zombie next to him. That will hit. He does... eight damage to that zombie in front of him. As he slashes into it with his longsword. Alright, which does bring us to the zombies. So, O'Donna gets attacked by a zombie. It misses. That zombie below is going to walk below the hag there and walk up to you there. Yep. That one attacks you. That is a 20 to hit, so that will hit you. The one that attacks Murga, 17 to hit.
That hits.
Okay. One will attack the cleric. Woo! A natural 18, so 21 to hit. And one will hit, try and attack you. That's a 19. Okay, so everybody gets hit except for O'Donna. Yes.
O'Donna rules.
O'Donna! Alrighty, so...
We're about to do O'Donna.
Man, I can't remember anybody's names this quick on the fly. Ruth, you take 6 bludgeoning damage. Bruce, you take 4 bludgeoning damage. Yarley, you take 5 bludgeoning damage. And Murga, you take 1 bludgeoning damage.
Okay. I'd like to round that down. But
I think you just take the 1. I don't know what happens.
Yeah.
Actually, no. Actually, it should be 2.
Okay.
So you take 1.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay, so that's the zombies' turn, which brings us to Ruth, at the top of the order.
So, is there one of the pillar of ice things over here that I could try to hide behind?
The pillar of ice things have basically crumbled as the zombies all came
there's
out.
not a place for me to hide.
Not really, no. You could so ahead of you right there is a little crevasse that looks like it leads into a maybe another smaller chamber. You could eke your way in there and try to hide.
Or are you trying to get up and hit her head?
I mean, I'm gonna try to shoot her with my short bow.
Okay.
19.
A 19 will hit.
For 10 points of damage.
Okay.
Nice.
And then I'm going to use my movement to run in here
Okay.
and take an attack of opportunity.
From the zombie, yep.
And use my bonus action to hide.
The zombie does hit you.
Okay.
You take 6 points of bludgeoning damage.
I'm unconscious and dying.
Oh, shoot! So, fire of the short bow turns to run and basically just gets haymakered by the zombie on his way past and is sprawled out on the ground unconscious. Alrighty.
Not again! This is just like the sewer!
The best part is, I'm not going to believe anything that happened.
Should I be keeping track of how many arrows I'm using?
Not like
I
that.
thought you were about to say hit points or something.
Oh, yeah. I was like, hit points? Yes, you should. Okay, so as Ruth goes down. It is the hag's turn. As she is going to... she kind of looks behind her and turns back, that horrible, like, lamp-like gaze back on you guys. The too wide smile looking down on you.
One for my collection, and the rest of you shall soon follow!
And she is going to cast another spell, raining down death from above. She is going to cast another ray of frost, this time at O'Donna. I believe... I flipped off my page that has his stats on it. Hang on. Yes, that will hit. He gets hit by a ray of frost. He takes cold damage.
That was another nat 20. I'm kidding.
No, it was not. I think it was like a 12.
Okay. Alright, he takes 7 points of cold damage.
I know.
He is basically struck square in the chest by this beam of ice. He kind of staggers back. You see the frost kind of spreads over his appendages. He sort of struggles to keep pace, trying to fend off this zombie as it attacks him. Which brings us, Murga, to you. The zombie has gotten back up.
Not a nat 20, but it will hit because that's a 24.
That will hit.
It takes 16.
Okay. This time, you cleave again, you separate, you cut through, like, into your cut from before, through the arm that's holding it together, and the force of it goes the rest of the way through the rest of the torso, and it comes cleanly into 2 pieces, plus, like, the forearm falls separately, and it gets down and doesn't get back up this time.
About time.
Hooray.
And I draw a javelin. That's
Alright.
all I can do.
Yarle, you are up.
Alright. I am going to try to punch this thing in the face again with the mace.
Alright, roll the hit.
14 this time.
That will hit.
And I roll my 1d6 plus 1 with 4 points of bludgeoning damage.
Alright. Switch the die there.
So that's 6 points of total damage on this one.
Continue to, like, batter into this thing with your mace. Each successive blow kind of like knocking it back as it keeps coming towards you. A sort of slow, inevitable lurch in your direction.
Really miss Eldritch Blast right now.
Which brings us to Bruce.
You can do it, Bruce.
I'm going to yell, Ruth needs a cleric! And continue trying to shoot at the lady.
Alright, roll the hit.
That one goes into.
Dice jail. Alright, I still got it. See what's a miss.
8.
An 8. So you keep
I've
shooting
gotten
arrows, they
3
keep like
8s
getting
in a
caught
row.
by this wind and just getting taken off in weird directions. O'Donna is going to attack the zombie again next to him. That will hit. That is another 5 points of damage to that one.
Yep. 13.
So he's kind of like wrestling this thing back with one arm and like stabbing at it with his longsword. As he gets like hit with this spell, he kind of is looking around. And says, I told you that no one comes back from here. Today's as good a day to die as any, I suppose.
I'm not dying today.
And that brings us to the zombies. Alright, O'Donna. Miss on O'Donna. The one over the unconscious form of Ruth is going to attack him. Gets advantage. Does a 14 hit you?
No.
Right. Somehow with advantage still misses. Doesn't manage to hit you. The one on,
Twitch is what you do.
the one on you misses, and the one on the cleric misses. No zombies do anything this turn of any effect to anyone. Just continue to in your general direction. As Ruth, I need a death saving throw.
Yep, good.
Good, one success. Okay. The blizzard continues to swirl. The hag is going to take a shot at O'Donnell again, as he looks the weakest. That will hit him. Alright. He is hit a second time by this blast of frigid air. It kind of strikes him as he winds back to try and put the sword into the zombie. He ends up opening his chest to her, and she strikes him right in the opposite shoulder of the one that he's holding his sword in, that had been sort of holding the zombie at bay, and you see the arm just like goes limp at his side, and he like reels back, coughs, and you see like a crimson streak of blood just comes out of his mouth. And that is her turn. Murga, you are up.
Save you, damage the thing. Save you, damage the thing. Damage the thing. Does an 18 hit the hag?
An 18 will hit the hag.
Okay. It takes 8 points of piercing damage as I chuck a javelin into it.
Okay. The javelin.
Once again, yelling, yeet.
Yeet! The javelin, like 7 or 8 inches of it disappear into like the folds of her robes with this sort of like noise. It disrupts her cackle as she's like, and you see a little bit of like almost pale blue blood kind of like start to spread from the wound. And it is Yarley, your turn.
Alright, I'm going to hit it in the face with the mace again. Because
Face in place.
mace face, yeah, that's a 17 to hit.
That definitely hits. Full damage.
Hooray! 7 points of bludgeoning damage.
7 points of bludgeoning damage. Alright, add another 7 to that.
So that's up to 13 points of...
Okay. You just continue, you're like, over and over again, you're like hitting this thing in the head. You're starting to see like the skull is starting to like cave in under your repeated mace strikes.
It's just like repeating it, like increasing intensity. It's like, no.
Alrighty. And Bruce.
If I roll a 2 again?
That'll hit.
There we go. 25.
I will definitely hit. Roll damage.
7.
7 points of damage. Alrighty. So the arrow this time finds its mark, digs into the other side of where the javelin is pierced, kind of. And you see as it hits, the face of the hag turns towards you, smiling that like horrible twisted smile down in your direction. O'Donnell. Take a swing at this zombie and miss. Like, he's got one no longer functioning arm, and he's kind of like resorted to sort of trying to like parry this thing back away from him with his longsword in desperation. And it is the zombie's turn. So zombie again will attack the unconscious Ruth. That's gonna miss. Yep, that misses.
The power of skepticism.
Zombie number 2
Invincible.
misses Bruce.
One eye opens up like.
Zombie 3 against the cleric misses, and zombie against O'Donna will hit.
Oh,
Dealing. You guys watch as desperately O'Donna is trying to fend off this zombie. He sticks his longsword into it, a good half a foot of the blade kind of like sinking in. But as he goes to like pull back, it gets caught. You can't get it out. And you kind of see for just a moment like this grim sense of realization comes over his face as the zombie, now like partially embedded on the blade, is within reaching distance of him, and just one hand just comes out and like grabs into his throat, and with inhuman strength just rips his throat out of his neck. And he just like both hands go to the neck in this like futile attempt to stop the bleeding, but he just falls dead to the ground, killed by the zombie.
One of his own comrades.
What was once one of his own men, probably. And that's the zombie's turn. So Ruth, another death saving throw.
That is a success.
That's another success. Okay,
Nice.
2 out of 3. All right, which brings us to the hag, who she kind of sees. She sees O'Donna goes down, and she says,
Your numbers are getting thin, dearies.
and she is going to cast another spell as a. So she's going to move a little bit. Let me see what the range on this one is. Hold on a second. Yeah, she's going to actually fly herself kind of like around towards O'Donna, like the other side of O'Donna's corpse there. She's going to drop down to about 5 feet off the ground. So she's still hovering, but she's
sideways.
lower. Yeah, just turn it sideways.
Okay.
She's going to cast Cone of Cold,
Oh.
which is going to hit both of you guys and the zombie.
Goody.
Let me...
So these, so it's pretty much like
It's a
right here.
60-foot cone.
Does that hit
Which
me?
means that's what I'm about to measure to see if it hits you as well.
Sure, where you're.
So 5,
I think it
10,
does.
15, 20,
Yeah.
25. Yes, it will hit you as well.
And me.
It will hit all 3 of you.
Okay.
So I need the 3 of you. Ruth automatically fails.
Yep.
I need the 3 of you to make a Constitution saving throw.
That's a
19.
10.
Do I automatically fail Constitution
Uh-huh.
ones? It
22.
doesn't matter. Because if I take damage, I fail saves.
I guess it doesn't matter either way.
I think
You'll fail 2 saves on that.
Yeah, but I think I only auto fail strength and dexterity saves.
That's probably you're incapacitated.
I think, yeah.
Maybe you're right. Either way,
I mean,
you're
it
gonna
doesn't
take
matter,
damage either
but
way.
She's down like 5 feet in the air.
She's down basically on the ground now. For those who fail, 25 points of cold damage. For those who succeed, half of that.
Yay, resistance.
I'm down.
Alright, Bruce drops to the ground as this blast of icy air washes over this entire area. The score evens up on Ruth as you take two failed death saves as you are struck by this cone of cold.
Green zombie.
Oh yeah, that
And the purple zombie.
Purple zombie, yes. Green zombie fails.
And
There was something else.
other green zombies.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
1, 2.
All 3 green zombies fail.
Okay.
They all are like obliterated
Okay.
by
Yay!
this cone of cold.
Including the purple zombie.
The one
The one that was next to it.
yeah.
Anything that was in the cone that got hit,
Especially the
dies.
purple zombie.
Especially the purple zombie.
I didn't touch the purple zombie at all.
Neither did they failed
Alright.
their saves. They failed
Who's after the hag? Who's left?
Who is left after the hag? Murga is after the hag. She is within reaching distance.
Yep. And I'm going to try and reach her. And I'm going to miss.
Ooh, alright.
It was all
Gonna swing. She begins to
it's
levitate back up.
It's only a +6, so that's an 8.
Begins to levitate back up away from you, and you kind of aren't quite able to get her. Which brings us to Yarley.
Alright. I have an opportunity. I take an opportunity of attack with this remaining zombie, but I don't care.
Alrighty.
1, 2, 3, 4 behind her.
It misses you.
Yay. Eat this, bitch. The level 2 inflict wounds.
Alrighty.
19 to hit plus 6 is
That
25.
will definitely hit. Go ahead and roll damage.
That is 4d10.
Nice.
Yes.
Woohoo!
1.
Any more d10s?
2 more.
Here you go.
You know what? No, don't worry, count, because I have one of those. I need this. Alright. It is...
Big numbers?
Oh, big numbers. 9, 10, 8, and 3. So 19 plus 11
30.
is 30.
30 points of damage.
Necrotic damage.
Okay.
Duncan. Bitte.
You basically just blast this negative necrotic energy into her. You see all of the soup that was on her just boils away. The heavenly scent that had been there before is replaced by something that causes your gag reflex to and a good portion of her tattered robes tears away, exposing this gnarled bony spine. You see the flesh along it all start to necrotize and rot even before your very eyes. She sort of leans back and for the first time stops laughing and she goes kind of turns that horrible face towards you and she says, I was going to leave you for last, but I think I'll kill you next! And zombies are all dead. Oh no, one more zombie.
There's one nonsense zombie.
First I need Bruce to make his first death saving throw. Failure. Okay, one failure for Bruce. Donna's dead. Last zombie is gonna go towards Cleric there. And miss. It sucks. Ruth, you're up.
I'm dead.
Ruth dies.
All the way down.
Oh.
He dies as he lived, disbelieving.
I'm not
As he
dead.
stares up at deity and goes, who the heck are you?
Alright, so Ruth shuffles off the mortal coil, and it is the hag's turn. And she rotates on her broom there, and is going to cast a ray of frost at you.
Well, I hope I can take this.
I hope you can too.
I have the hit points because I've wasted 3 levels.
Well, not gonna matter, because she gets a 8 to hit.
Oh,
Misses.
a cool breeze. Wafts through my arm.
A breeze so cold that you still feel your face get freezer burn as it passes by you. You see she's not her posture is all jacked up on her flying stick there as you've decrayed half of her spine. So she doesn't quite get it at you, but she's her face is a few feet from you. This horrible Okay. She is going to. She's actually going to fly up. No, she's not, because she doesn't need to. She will take an attack of opportunity from you.
What about me?
Not you. She just slightly circles you. So she's gonna like hit the ground at this point. So it's around you. We got.
Net 20
All right, you hit her
with the mace.
with your mace.
2d6 plus.
Or whatever your strength is.
It's a +1 modifier, but. So 9 plus 1 is 10 points.
10 points of damage. All right, so you like whack into her with your mace as she's like hits the ground, takes this stick out from under her, and begins to like hobble basically around you, Murga.
Okay.
She doesn't really react too much to you like hitting her with the mace, besides like, ow. And what she does next, she drops down on her hands and knees over the body of O'Donna. And you guys watch as both of these clawed hands just go out, and she just digs them into his like torso and brings him up towards her, and like hands and claws and mouth just begins like gorging herself, eating his corpse. So I need both of you guys to make a wisdom saving throw.
Oh god, I hope an 18 makes it.
An 18 does make it.
20.
20 also makes it. So you
Actually,
guys,
22. Yeah.
you guys see, besides the fact that this is like the most horrifying thing you've ever been forced to witness, this like nauseating wave of magic emanates from this act as she begins to like devour the corpse of O'Donna. And you guys basically feel like your legs and spines like threaten to turn to jelly, and you almost like lose all sense of like reason. But you kind of manage to like snap out of it and look away at the last moment before you just go like gibberingly mad, and shake off the effect. Alrighty, that is her turn, which brings us to you, Yarley. Murga, sorry, Murga.
Yeah.
He's got new names tonight. I can't keep his two straight.
23.
23 will hit. Full damage.
Murder.
13 points of slashing damage.
Alrighty. In the words of an immortal DM, how do you want to do this?
He steps up to the blade. Pitcher gets a sign. The swing. And it's good. That goes.
Still, eyes seeming to stare at you, that horrible smile as it just rotates through the air, spewing a like fountain of hag blood.
Oh yeah.
As the head just like hits the ground and rolls. As the hag dies, that last zombie just like keels over, and this like blizzard dissipates and the area clears.
Immediately sprint over to her and him, and use my last spell slot for level 1 for Cure Wounds.
I'm
Are
gonna.
you out of initiative when that happens?
At this point, like, she would maybe have had to have him make one more death saving throw before he got there, and
make it.
she can't feasibly die before he can get
Oh,
there.
I thought
So
you had
it's
two. Okay.
Okay.
it's all right.
Yeah, I move over to check on him and realize.
It's the hag's soul.
Bugs are all in here.
Oh, you contrary bastard! Of course you had to die on
He's
me.
very dead. As is O'Donna.
Yeah, I imagine. Okay.
Most of his head is gone. Like a good portion of his torso has just been ripped away. The hag body is like on top of him.
I had just decided where to retire to.
That's a death flag, sir.
6 days to retirement.
I was a law enforcement
Sorry,
officer
he
who
was-
decided where to retire.
He was 1 week from retirement. So as quiet kind of descends over this area, as the weather clears and the hag is no more, you guys are looking over the fallen body of Rutherford Bach. You hear from within that like crevasse that he was trying to make his way towards, you hear a very kind of small, very frightened. Hello?
Nora?
Yes, are you here to save me?
S&P. Yes, we're here to save you.
Oh, thank the gods. I'm chained to a wall. The monster, I heard you fighting it. Is it dead?
Yeah, it's dead. You stay on, Bruce. I'll go get her out.
Alright, so you're alive.
So, wounded, horrified, filthy, less one member than they started with.
I take a moment to wipe off the badge, so at least it's clean.
The party recovers a terrified, but otherwise apparently unharmed, Nora, the wife of Neil. Return her to her home with many eternal thanks from the people of the homestead, and set off back to another day on the hard streets within the kingdom of Valand. And that is where our session ends.
Yay!
Good job,
We did
guys.
it. We saved the city.
You did it. You saved a peasant. So, thank all of you guys for sticking with us as we ran a bit late tonight. Remember to keep hanging around this month, as we have all sorts of special birthday month things, and the week of the 20-somethingth. The week of July 20th is birthday week. Every single stream that runs that week will be giving away a set of birthstone dice from the Little Dragon Corp. Basically, if you win, you will get to pick your own custom birthday month, birthday gemstone dice, and have them sent to you on behalf of Proficiency Bonus. Check out the Extra Life link up on Facebook, Tabletop Legends Facebook, Proficiency Bonuses Facebook. Please donate to that if you can. Thank you to all of our sponsors, Marble Moon Studio and the 8th House. Check out their tarot deck Kickstarters available very soon. Check out their cool products on their websites. And please join us again next week, Tuesday at 7 p.m. As we return to our regularly scheduled campaign session. If you have missed any episodes of Tabletop Legends up to this point, now is good. We got a week off of the main campaign. Now is a good time to catch up to us. All of our back episodes are available on YouTube. Look us up there, Tabletop Legends on YouTube. Episodes 1 through 13 are available now to watch in their entirety on YouTube. Thank you for joining us. We will see you again soon. Anything else? Anybody? No? Am I forgetting anything?
No,
Nope.
that covers it.
Cool.
Happy July.
Bye!